Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
At SimpliSafe, our 24/7 lifeguard protection helps stop crime in real time, because during a break-in, every second counts, and these days, every dollar counts. Right now, get 50% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplisafe.com/radio. It's U.S. News and World Report's Best Home Security of 2023. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Plenty of sunshine, dry, and also plenty of warm temperatures for this time of year. As we go through our Wednesday afternoon, sunny skies 69, tonight partly cloudy 45. Kind of the same thing on Thursday, partly to mostly sunny 69. Thursday night, clouds, a sprinkle or a light shower, not much. 48 degrees. Friday, a couple of sprinkles in the morning. Otherwise, partly sunny, 55. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon from my friends at Zero Res. November brings another great offer. I'll get into those details in a second, but let's face it, it's the month of Thanksgiving. We got Christmas and everything else coming up. You want your home to be clean. You're going to have friends and family come over, and if it doesn't look clean, if it doesn't smell clean, well, they're going to probably talk about you. So let's hire Zero Res. Some people hire a deal of the day carpet cleaner. That's not a good thing because it's going to come back to haunt you. Zero Res are professionals, and let's face it, there's no license required to be a professional carpet cleaner. But Zero Res, they're professionals because they've done this for so long. They have a great process. They have a 4.9 rating on Google with over 5,000 reviews, and the Zero Res Gotta Love It guarantee makes it easy to get what you pay for. So if you need those carpets cleaned, the upholstery cleaned, the area rugs, the vinyl floors, call Zero Res. Get a great offer. 3 rooms, Zero Resified, starting at $129. You can take $50 off your air duct cleaning this month. Call 474-2020 or go online to ZeroResSTL.com. You spell backward or forward, it spells the same. Zero Res.
The IRS definitely ramped up operations since the pandemic slowed them down, and activity only increases from here. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. If you're currently under audit or you haven't paid your taxes in the past, now's the time to call the Lance Story Law Firm. The IRS has a published Taxpayer Bill of Rights, which says you have the right to retain legal representation, because IRS problems are legal problems, and the Lance Story Law Firm focuses specifically on addressing IRS issues for our clients. It's all we do. We get out in front of the IRS, devise the best resolution plan, and work to make sure you're able to take advantage of every program you're qualified to receive. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure company, call the Lance Story Law Firm. We're local, located right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURYlaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-238-7360.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Feels good to be home.
Our local Ashley store has the biggest and best Black Friday furniture and mattress deals going on right now. Literally everything is on sale throughout the store, including up to 75% off designer-picked holiday hot buys. Plus, you can shop confidently because Ashley's price match guarantee ensures you'll get the best price. So if you're looking for trend-forward styles at unbelievable Black Friday prices, shop your local Ashley store today, only at Ashley.
Exergen thermometers are a top choice of medical professionals at highly ranked hospitals across the U.S. Accuracy matters, so make Exergen the chosen thermometer for your home and family. Available at Walmart and other participating retailers. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet. Planning a road trip this fall? Maximize your fuel economy by inflating tires to proper pressure and packing light. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the
ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Teacher. Yeah, teacher. Yeah, I think it's a really big problem when we're not putting money into education and not spending it where it needs to be spent. I also think there's this weird lack of patriotism in a lot of our schools in America, and that bothers me as a history teacher. And so I think we are focusing a lot on the wrong parts of education and not really focusing on what we need to be teaching our kids.
So there's a history teacher. She's at a Montana diner, which is where all the good things happen, at the diner, the local diner, talking about the fact that she's a history teacher and she feels as though education needs funding. But she says something very important there, to be sent into the correct places. And she comments on this weird anti-patriotism mood that has been injected into education for sure, but hasn't it kind of been injected into everything a bit? We're going to speak with Greg Jarrett at 1:05, and he's going to join us to talk about his new book that he has out, but we're going to also ask him about some legal concerns that we have as voters, as constituents and citizens of this country, watching the justice system do what the justice system is doing. But we're going to talk to him about the American spirit. He wrote an opinion piece on Fox News called "It's Time to Revive the American Spirit." Here's how we start. So I'm going to ask him about that. But I wanted to ask you about that first before we get to him in about an hour from now. So stay tuned or pull us up on the Odyssey app, AUDACY, download it and find 97.1 FM Talk, and you can listen to us anywhere, anytime. But the American spirit, I think in order to restore it or revive it, you kind of have to define it first. Brad, when you think about the American spirit, not just in the Brad sense, but probably in like what's the most collectively agreed upon sense, how would you define the American spirit?
I say freedom, but freedom is also one of those abstract terms. But this idea, I would say fierce independence would be an American spirit type thing. The surest way to get somebody from America to not do something that you want them to do is to tell them that they have to do it.
Yeah. Well, not everything.
It's like, don't tell me what to do.
Yeah. We're missing a little bit of that.
Yeah, we are. We're missing a little bit of that. And I think there's almost like, for lack of a better term, a swagger to it, an arrogant confidence, but like not in an off-putting way, in a good way. The idea that there's nothing that we can't do if we come together as a country. The idea that our neighbor is important, that we care about one another. I think that's part of the American spirit. I think a pride in what we have built as a country is part of the American spirit.
I think that all the things that you just listed there are repulsive to some people.
Probably.
And if you're going to revive or restore the American spirit, do those people get left behind? Because there are some people who I feel are not going to be made to be happy, or they're not going to change their mind. They're not going to change their perspective on kind of, I guess the same question is what makes America great, because the American spirit would come from a pride in what makes America great. Mm-hmm. And that it gets at the core of, the Donald Trump question, make America great again. He ran and won on that already one time, coming off of 8 years of President Obama, who his campaign speech was to fundamentally transform the United States of America. Boy, did he. Mm. He's pretty successful at that. So if you want to say make America great again, you have to define what great looks like, at least in abstract, so that you can understand what you're pursuing, and then you can get people to say, yeah, I'm for that. Maybe I'm for this way of doing that as opposed to that way of doing that. But if you're going to say make America great again, you are implying that right now is not so great. I think there's a lot more people who agree that things aren't as good as they should be in the United States of America right now than people who agree on their politics.
Yeah, I would agree with that sentiment. Going back to, people, we're not going to agree politically, and I think that's part of what makes America great, isn't it? The idea that you can have your thoughts, and Annie, you and I align probably, I don't know, 98, 99% on things. But there are 1% of things.
Bagels and donuts.
Yeah. There are things that we disagree on, but the ability to have that disagreement and to openly have that disagreement without one of us, seeking, the imprisonment of another or whatever, having all that, and not having the debate, not having the conversation, but being able to have that conversation and still come together as Americans is part of what makes America one of the greatest country in the world, frankly. The ability to freely express your political ideology and your political belief, and then to have that challenged, I think is what makes America America.
I really wonder how it just doesn't seem like it should be that difficult, because these are abstract conversations that you can have with people who maybe you don't agree with 98, 99% of the time, but maybe 50% of the time, which is a lot, honestly. But the political cloud that sits over that conversation is so powerful and so thick and dense that sometimes it precedes a productive conversation. And, I'll even put myself in this situation. I will ask you to do that while you're listening here, but if you're thinking about, I could maybe start a conversation that I wouldn't normally have felt comfortable starting. I could be willing to listen. I could be willing to do that. I could be willing to be part of the solution. Isn't there part of you going that's like, but it better be productive? Like the goal is to change the mind of the person you're talking to.
Yeah.
I think that's the breakdown. Because that's the same goal as the other person.
Well, I think the other thing is, too, and akin to that, we don't argue or debate on the problem. We don't understand each other's core concerns. We just don't like each other's solutions to what we're concerned about. And to be able to look at that, you have to have that conversation. I have to know what it is. Like, why are you saying that student loans should be paid for by the government? I need to understand where you're coming from and why you have come to that sentiment before I can, because if we just sit there and go, wow, that's not the right answer, we don't even know what the right problem is.
Well, but you also might agree on the idea that education in America is too expensive for the benefit of not the students.
Right.
And maybe you shelve for now the conversation about student loans because it's such a political conversation. You can't have the political, you can't have the who should pay back the student loans conversation without it coming immediately to politics, because it's being used by politicians for that purpose. It's been thrust into the forefront so that is the conversation that is had, because you won't really have it because you already know where your side is on it. But where are Republicans and Democrats on the cost of education in this country? Where are Republicans and Democrats on who profits off of the high cost of education in this country? Where are Republicans and Democrats on why the government is so eager to just throw money to make the education cost burden less on the student, to make sure that they go to a higher education facility? It seems incredibly important to the government structure and the bureaucracy that, kids need to go to college. They don't push trades the way they push colleges. There's something different about that, and Lord knows that you can be making a lot more money learning a trade, especially these days, without having the debt, and get some ownership in that whole process very quickly, compared to going to a 4-year school where people are now 15 years into their career and they owe more than they did when they started. Where are Republicans and Democrats on why the solution to enormous costs of education is just who pays for it? Why aren't we asking how come it costs as much as it does? Why does it need to cost as much as it does? Where does the money go? Where does the money go in relation to how the students are made into productive employees so that they can make the money themselves? Because if education didn't have government money pumped into it the way that it does, through low interest, unforgivable and bankruptcy loan structures that I suppose was set up to make the government a little bit of money, which sure as heck isn't going to do it if they just forgive all those loans and don't get any of that money back. But the idea that education will never get cheaper. It will always, you can count on it, always get more expensive. And the government will always be there to fill the gap, to make sure that the education system gets paid. Why aren't we having that conversation? How many people in your life do you think drastically different about any particular issue? Doesn't have to be, the whole kit and caboodle. It could be a education issue. It could be healthcare. It could be abortion. It could be First Amendment rights, Second Amendment rights, all the amendment rights. How many people do you know in your life just completely opposed to the way that you think, and you are the same with them, and you just don't get it? You don't understand it. Have you had conversations where the only goal is to talk about why they believe what they believe? Not to counter with why you believe what you believe, but just to learn about why they believe what they believe. I don't think those conversations happen very often. There's not a whole lot of listening going on. And you're not going to sit down with somebody who has, I live in the state of Illinois. I honestly don't. I'm trying to think. I'm not going to name you people. But I'm trying to think of the people in my life who are Democrat voters who are like, Illinois' gun laws, that's the way. Like, this is how we should do it. I don't know anybody who is like, yes. I know people who vote Democrat who don't want you using your AR machine gun on the street, and then we have to sit down and have a conversation about what are we talking about here, and how did you get a machine gun?
Yeah.
Because you can't just... But they don't want to see gun crimes being perpetuated in their neighborhood, and they see this to be a solution, but they're not looking to go as far as maybe Illinois has gone. I think we understand each other and agree on more than we don't, but we only focus on those things that tear us apart because we're trained to. We're like trained pets who hear the doorbell or hear the sound, and we run to the door, getting ready to suit up and fight so that we can win a point for a team that won't ever even know that the fight happened. And in the meantime, you've got relationships in your life that are not as strong as they were before those conversations. I'm curious what you think that the American spirit is. I would like to know how you define it. Our YouTube live chat poll for today is, can the American spirit be restored? You have three options. Yes, it can. No, it can't. Or it's just fine the way it is. When you go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel, we broadcast live every day there on YouTube. Like I said, we also do on the Odyssey app. But the poll is located in the live chat portion of the daily live broadcast on YouTube. Rick says, yes, it can, but there's no doubt that what constitutes the American spirit has suffered as we have turned our attention inward. We have to serve the common good based on truth and justice and the American way, which is what I added. Isn't that Superman or something?
Truth, justice, and the American way.
Is that Superman?
Yes.
Oh, I'm pretty proud of myself right now. I know nobody else is on that, but I sure am. G-Whip says, America's not as great as it used to be, but there is still hope. Doug said, can it be restored? Possibly. We may not live long enough to see the fruits of our labor. It took decades to get here. It's going to take at least as long to get back. That's bleak. But I got kids. You got kids. We all have generations that we care about coming forward. We should be doing everything we can to fortify it while we can. Jackie said, our American spirit can absolutely be restored. It is going to take a lot of time, individual effort, and I hope a catastrophe isn't a necessary catalyst. I second that sentiment for sure. Give us your thoughts on today's poll. Go vote. Can the American spirit be restored? Yes, no, or it's just fine. When we come back, our dear, dear friend Marc Cox joins us. He's got a couple of things he wants to talk to us about, including that first responder spotlight. It's a great thing he's doing, and I think it restores a little bit of my American spirit. So we're going to discuss that with Marc Cox on the Annie Frey Show when we come back.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
If you're still alive and breathing, praise the Lord. Don't stop dancing and dreaming. There's still good news worth repeating. So lift your head and keep singing. Praise the Lord.
The Diamond Shop, you can find them online at thediamondshop.net. They have a girls' night out. It's this Thursday, November 16th at the Diamond Shop from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Come and hang out and enjoy an evening of fun with delicious sips and unbeatable steals you're not going to want to miss. This is how this works. You go there, you make your wish list, and then they send it to your loved ones so that they know what to get you. Come on. This is as easy and good as it gets. Plus, you're going to get some great access to some deals. The Diamond Shop has jewelry specials all throughout the evening, including 50% off all diamond jewelry. Girls' Night Out, November 16th at the Diamond Shop at 12 North Central in Clayton. When you go there, make sure that you tell them hello from the Annie Frey Show and quickly understand why they have become the jeweler of the Annie Frey family. And all of the people asking about them, I tell them they're legit, they're family-owned and operated, they care about you, and they're ready to help. Online at thediamondshop.net.
Honey, is our car still under warranty?
No, not anymore.
My sister just got an extended service plan from Ox Car Care.
Ox Car Care?
Yeah, Ox will cover our repair bills if anything happens to our car, new brakes, a transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait a minute, we pay nothing on the repairs? Ox gets it fixed for us? Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance? What's the number?
800-224-9174. Ox has a 30-day money-back guarantee and an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike other warranty companies. We should call now. 800-224-9174.
The last thing we need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-224-9174. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox Car Care, 800-224-9174 or oxcarcare.com.
It's Annie Frey, and I'm inviting you to join me and support Jewish Federation's Blue Ribbon campaign. The Blue Ribbon symbolizes support for the safe return of all 240 hostages taken by Hamas terrorists and unites you with people of all religions, races, and nationalities in telling the people of Israel they are not alone. Be part of the movement. Tell Israelis they are not alone. Every dollar donated goes to saving lives and providing support in Israel. Visit jfedstl.org to learn more and donate. jfedstl.org.
Updating your home with James Hardie Siding has never been more popular. With all of the options available, you need a partner to maximize your investment. The rising prices on vinyl siding has made Hardie Siding a great alternative. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today.
Marc Cox here. Join me next spring on a beautiful trip to Italy. This is going to be great. We're going to fly into Rome. We are going to get on a bus and travel south to the Abbey of Monte Cassino, maybe Italy's best-kept secret. It looks like something out of a picture book. We'll visit Puglia. We'll go to Caserta. We're going to spend several days in Sorrento. You'll have an opportunity to visit the ruins in Pompeii, and then Positano, which is on the Amalfi Coast and absolutely one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. I can tell you, my wife and I have been there, and we can't wait to go back. You can even take a high-speed jet foil over to the Isle of Capri, which has some tremendous historic Roman ruins on it that you can visit while you're there. $53.67 a person. That includes your airfare from the St. Louis area. Call them toll-free at 888-733-9494. That's 888-733-9494 or conservativetours.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 54 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Marc Cox here, 97.1 FM Talk is shining a spotlight on our first responders. Listen to my show each day as we feature our heroes and raise awareness for responder rescue. Learn more about how you can give back at 971talk.com/events, sponsored by Budweiser.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Frey Show. Thanks for being with us this afternoon. We are watching. It seems as though it says Biden holds presser. Is that the? Yeah, Biden is supposed to be greeting President Xi here soon, so we're going to keep our eye on that, and we'll bring. I'm sure that's going to be newsworthy. Oh my gosh, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about all of this. They're like, president needs to be out there in front and leading, and then he does, and then you're like, maybe less, maybe not as much. Let's bring our friend Marc Cox on to the show with us. Marc Cox from the Marc Cox Morning Show, weekdays 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here. Is that a little kid I hear in the background?
Do you hear him? I was worried about that. I've got my grandson.
No, it's the best part of the day. You let him do whatever he wants to do. Marc, welcome back to the show. Good to have you.
Thank you, Annie. I appreciate. He might make more sense than me today. We'll see.
No, I appreciate it. There is nothing better than a grandpa babysitting. I'll tell you that. I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about your first responder spotlight that you have been involved in, that you pour yourself into, because it needs to have a spotlight here on our show, noon to 3. I know you talk about it all the time. What do you want people to know who maybe haven't heard of it yet?
Well, here's the important thing. I try to set this month aside every year just to bring people's attention back to these people that serve us every day. And most of us, if we're lucky, never have to encounter them, because it's usually a life or death situation if we do. But I like to show them that we appreciate them. So every day of the month, I recognize a different fire or police department or EMS and try to raise a little bit of money that might help them out if they need it, Annie. We do a raffle through Respond to Rescue, and all the money goes to the charity. We're just raffling off something called alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. So it appeals to just about everybody in the crowd, one of those three, I figure. And we're selling raffle tickets for $1 a piece, or I think the minimum order is $10 worth. And then you get a chance to you can hear my grandson back there.
Don't worry about it. It's great.
Then you get a chance to win to your choice. So we're going to pick 3 winners next Wednesday, and I'm trying to raise $25,000. If we do, we would have contributed a total of $75,000 to Respond to Rescue over the past 3 years.
How close do you know where you are in your goal yet, or not yet?
We're about halfway there, a little less than halfway there, I guess. Maybe around 9,000, 910. Usually the last week is when it really starts ramping up, and I'm hoping that we get people to sign on and maybe consider buying a ticket. It's really easy. All you have to do is text the word responder to 33100, and a link will come to your mobile device, and then you can buy the tickets right online.
You said text the word responder to 33100.
Correct. If you do that, you can you'll get a link that takes you to your on your mobile device, and it takes you right to this page, and it shows all the prizes on there. I've got the Range is a sponsor of mine, the Range St. Louis West. They've donated a rifle. It's a CMMG MK4. That's a beautiful gun. It's got a nice optic on it. They're going to give away a class on how to use it as well. It's worth like $1,600. I'm a bourbon fan.
I do.
I have collected a basket full of bourbon, probably over $2,000 worth of bourbon that people could potentially win. For people who are bourbon fans, there's some big names in there: Weller, Blanton's, Eagle Rare. I've got some Stolock, and I'm going to have some Planters from Nobleton's Distillery here in the St. Louis area. Everybody has been so generous with their donations. It's just been incredible.
Can I
so you
win?
got a chance to do.
If I donate, can I
Well,
win?
yeah, I absolutely. I don't see why not. I mean, you're not technically part of my morning show. I'm the one doing this, so
yeah.
I can't buy any tickets. That might look kind of funny, but I don't have any problem if you do.
Maybe your grandson wins the firearm or something.
Yeah, that could be it.
I just did it. 33100 is the number that you're going to type in your phone. Text responder. It's very simple to get to and learn more about what this is about. So go check that out now. We'll mention it throughout the course of the next week too on our show, and encourage people to go donate, support a great cause, and hopefully win a really sweet prize from the Marc Cox Morning Show. Are you two pull? Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I appreciate that. I mean, it's usually I sound like I'm doing a radiothon in the morning because I'm pushing it so often. But it's you're going to spend $10 or maybe $20, and all the money's going to respond to rescue. The great thing they do really is if a first responder gets injured in the line of duty, unlike backstoppers, they're there for first responders who've been killed. But if a first responder gets injured, they often have to take time off work. They may get behind on medical bills or the rent, and that's when Responder Rescue steps in and they help out.
Well, it's an amazing thing that you're doing to spotlight it, and we're glad that we could talk to you about it here. I was going to say, we do that YouTube live chat poll every day, and today's is, can the American spirit be restored? And the options are yes, no, or it's just fine. I wonder what you think about that, Marc Cox, because you cover this stuff as close as anybody does. And you got a grandson in the back there, and you care about what happens in the future beyond just our own existence here. We need to do something to fortify this country. What do you think about the current state of the American spirit and where it goes from here?
Yeah, I worry about it all the time. I really do. And people have forgotten their history in this country, and I think that's just such a shame. I mean, it really is. I talked to Harris Faulkner from Fox this morning on my show. They're doing their Patriot Awards tomorrow night, and she was talking about, the trials and tribulations that her father went through as a member of the military, and I think about my grandparents, and I'm sure you think about this with your grandparents. They face trials and tribulations in this country that we can't even imagine. And yet today we seem to be a completely divided people. I just think you and I and the others who have the power of the airwaves, and hopefully our leaders in the state of Illinois, the state of Missouri, maybe our national leaders will step up and remind people what's at stake here. Our ancestors fought so hard for this freedom, and we seem to just be willing to give it away in return for a little bit of security here or a promise of a paycheck there. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think the spirit's gone, but I think a couple of generations have gone by now without people learning the lessons they need to understand about America.
I wonder if we're so far detached from what the cost of freedom is. Because we've got it pretty good in this country, and every once in a while it seems like this is a revolving door for points that I make. But we are so fortunate in this country to dabble in socialistic ideas. We have such a great amount of, I would say blessed success in this country that the idea that, we should talk about equality, or more likely equity. We should talk about making things. We shouldn't have homeless people. We should be taking from the people who have too much and giving it to the people who don't have enough and solve all the problems. But the problem is that you squash the spirit of prosperity in this country. Then all of a sudden you don't have anything to give.
I've never worked for a poor man. I know that. This is what the Bernie Sanders of the world, the AOCs, don't seem to either have ever learned, or they just don't care. And I would vote them all off the island and ship them off to Venezuela for 10 or 12 months, and then let them come back and take stock in the grandness of this experiment in America. And I think they'd all be well served by that.
Well, we were talking in our first segment about, Donald Trump's slogan is "Make America Great Again." He won once on that slogan, 2020. Obviously, he is not the president right now, so he's running again. And he comes with a lot of baggage, I guess is the way to say it. And he doesn't come with a really positive message that precedes him, because nobody will allow him to even get to that point. What do you think is going to happen here? We've got January 15th is right around the corner for the Iowa caucus. Is it going to get way uglier before we have the chance to make the American spirit better?
Yeah, I'm starting to see panic set in on the left. They see Joe Biden floundering. His wife has to, tell him what question reporters are asking him in a news conference the other day, because he didn't really have any idea. He gets lost on stage. He's in San Francisco meeting with the leader of China, right? Who you could say the greatest thing he's done lately is unleash COVID on the world without warning anyone, and they're rolling out the red carpet for him. The left is panicked because they know that if there's an election with Joe Biden versus Donald Trump could very well win, and their latest attempt to throw him in jail has not worked yet. So, yeah, that's where I see the pressure being ramped up. They're not quite sure what to do next, because none of them, from David Axelrod on down, can think they can handle another Trump presidency. And I don't know about you, but I would take a couple of mean tweets and some $2.65 a gallon gasoline again. How about you?
Yeah, I really wouldn't be opposed to it. I can handle the mean
No,
tweets.
no.
Well, before we let you go, you and I have both covered elections on 97.1 multiple times. And it's November 15th. The rest of this year is just going by in a blink. And then we're into 2024. What do you want to tell the people who are listening? Maybe people tell me all the time, Annie, I love to hear you when I can, but I listen to Mark and Mark on my way to and from work. And there are other people who get to turn the station on in the afternoon and maybe don't get to listen in the morning. But just give me a little precursor to what it's like in an election year here on 97.1 that people can know when they turn into the Marc Cox Morning Show they're going to get.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, like your show, Annie, we tried to make sure we're covering the important stories of the day, obviously through a conservative lens, without a doubt, because you're not getting that in the mainstream media. You're not even getting it in the local media these days. I mean, I think the state of local journalism is so sad. And I've got a new cohort now, a new sidekick in the morning. I don't know if you've had a chance to tune in, but Kim St. Ange is just doing a great job. She was a reporter at Channel 4, ended up leaving there because they tried to force her to get the shot, the injection, and she didn't want to do that on religious grounds, and she ended up parting ways with Channel 4 over that whole thing. So we both got, I think, a pretty unique perspective on covering these important issues and really the vacuum that's been created in this country because the mainstream media won't. And there's nothing more important we can do this election year than inform people of really the stark choices we face in this country if we keep allowing it to drift aimlessly. And then that's kind of what's happened here. Just to make people feel good, they have embraced policies that, I think are ruining our country. So if we don't accomplish anything else in the morning, I hope we at least can educate and inform people.
Yeah, and you do a great job of that. I've always enjoyed my time with you, Mark, is where I got my first on-air start in 2014 on Sunday nights, and always appreciate the opportunity to have you on here and spotlight what you're doing, especially when it comes to this raffle. You can text responder to 33100, 33100, text responder, and buy $1,000 worth of tickets. How's that, Mark?
That'd be great.
Is that okay?
That would help tremendously, Annie. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mark and grandson, thank you for joining us today. It's good to talk to you.
You bet, Annie. Thanks.
Take care. Bye-bye. How adorable. I completely understand trying to do a radio hit or something like that and knowing you got the kids in the house and you've given them the stern lecture, like, you just eat, here's all this candy, eat this candy, and watch Bluey, and just sit still, and I'll be back in 5 minutes, and here's toys, and I'll buy you more toys.
That's just you whenever Ryan's there and we're doing something at your house.
Yeah,
so.
I was talking about Ryan. What do you think I was talking about? Candy and Bluey. I mean, that's in his rider. Yeah. I'll come over and cover the GOP debate with you, but there better be Bluey on a separate television to my right, not my left, and gummy candy only. Thank you. And a warm blanket and a Minnie Mouse doll. And it's like all there for him, folded, neatly ready. And he walks in and he says, "This'll do." Some of that's true.
Ryan is happy. He speaks in the third person.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to that. Please, please, please throw the Annie Frey Show support behind this responder rescue. It's such an easy thing to do and such a great cause to donate to. So text responder to 33100 and let's help make this an enormous success. Not for Marc Cox, but for the people who he is working to help, because that's what this is all about. Quick break. When we come back, Wiggins America, Thanksgiving inflation right around the corner on Wiggins America. We'll find out the news according to its relationship with Thanksgiving. When we come back, don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
be feeling all right once you walk through that store and realize how much you can save, especially as the holidays are upon you. You're going to be going to the grocery store a little bit more. Got a Thanksgiving meal to prepare or maybe a dish to bring to a Thanksgiving meal, and they have the savings ready for you. I just visited rulerfoods.com, which I always tell you to do, to find the one nearest you. And I picked the store that I go to, which is generally speaking the Collinsville Ruler Foods right there on 159. And it's just listing off some of the most amazing savings right now. 67-cent turkey. 67 cent per pound turkey, I should say. Unless you just got a 1 pound turkey. Can you buy those? Probably not. Fresh pineapple or celery, 99 cents each. Kroger butter, 2 for $5. You can get your pies if you want to just show up with a beautiful pie, a Marie Callender pie, just $5.99 when you go to Ruler Foods. You can scroll through on the current ads. You don't have to get them in the mail. You can look at them right there online and see the different things that you can save on. And then when you show up into the store and you realize how easy it is to shop there, how clean and organized the store is, you're going to go, yeah, okay. I got you, Annie. I know what you've been talking about. I'll be back. That's what my friends tell me when they go to Ruler Foods for the first time. You will too. Find them online at rulerfoods.com.
You wouldn't trust a butcher to babysit your pet pig. You wouldn't trust a lumberjack to repair your antiques. Or a professional wrestler to be your massage therapist. So why would you trust anyone but AMCO to fix your car? For over 50 years, we've been the trusted experts in transmission repair.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow. At AMCO.
AAMCO.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
I can see clearly now thanks to the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and introducing Samuel Berry. You can too. Call 314-966-5000 or check out youridoc.com. That's youridoc.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
I love gummy candies, but I don't really like Bluey that much. The lies that
It
are
just
told...
shows how bad your taste is. You like gummies, but you don't like Bluey? Said nobody ever.
I just said it, and it's true. And the verbal abuse that I receive when out of studio is worse than when I am in studio.
We can say it to your face.
Kind of walked into that.
Are you asking for it?
Look, we're going into a segment. You're about,
Let's
just do it. Let's just do it. All right, stick around for Wiggins America coming up next at 12:46. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Big ideas, real debate, solid entertainment. It's all here on St. Louis's home for conservative talk, 97.1 FM Talk.
I know you want to leave me, but I refuse to let you go. If I have to beg, plead,
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Frey Show.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins!
Hi, Ryan. So good to see you.
Hey, great to see you guys. How's it going? Let's reset everything. Love you guys. Just a terrific friendship on and off the air.
What would you say our explanation of your demands on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being spot on? How close are we to the truth?
Oh, 80. I don't want to watch Bluey. I don't want to watch children's shows. I want to watch debates.
If Bluey is on, do you not see what the story is?
No, I don't. No, I'm telling you the truth. I don't.
Have you ever?
Yeah, I've seen what the show is like because I wanted to make sure my kids weren't watching something weird.
Do you let them watch it?
Yeah.
There's an A+ for that, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, my kids love it, and I definitely give it my blessing as a dad. But I don't want to watch the show. I don't even know that. Is that the theme song? Ah, okay. See, I don't even care. That's how much I don't care about the show. The gummy candy stuff is true. The blanket stuff's pretty true. But it's more the weighted blanket. I like the weighted blanket.
See, he knows which blanket in my house he wants.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I've used that a couple times.
Yes,
but not
you
like
have.
kids' blanket. I'm not using little kids' blankets with My Little Pony on them. These are all lies. These are exaggerations for the radio.
Did we
Is that what it was?
Did we ever say that you use kitty blankets with Minnie Mouse on them?
I think
said
that
that
you
you
did.
have a. No, I did not.
What did you say?
I would give you a stuffy.
Man, was I off.
No, there were elements of truth to what we said.
There were elements of truth.
Enough for you to go, that's not how it went.
Like,
not
yeah.
that didn't happen.
Yeah, that's the
different.
problem. Is that if it's an outright lie, you can just go, that's so stupid.
Yeah.
But if you twist the truth, then you got to come in and clarify.
Which is, I know, frustrating when we do it because I know how we feel when you do it.
I don't ever do that.
Speaking of.
Yeah. By the way, here is my segment. It's called Wiggins America. These are both Thanksgiving-related stories and stories that are indirectly related to Thanksgiving. Let's start with inflation. Here's how much your Thanksgiving meal will cost. You're going to want to, go to the better price stores this year. I can already tell you that. But according to the American Farm Bureau Federations, this year's turkey will cost less than last year. But it's not because of inflation. It's because of a decrease in the number of avian influenza cases.
Yeah.
Oh, there's bird flu and inflation last year.
Yeah. And there's still inflation this year. It has slowed a bit, but it's still more than it was
High
at this
five,
point.
everybody.
High
Five for the no bird flu.
Well, yes, but if you're Joe Biden too, you like to say, I've decreased inflation from its peak by 65% or something crazy.
Well, and if he says it, you know it's true.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know if it's true.
He's just repeating what is on the note card.
Sort of.
When he can. The
As best he
Bureau's
can.
latest report has found that on average, the cost for a 16-pound turkey will be $27.35. Last year, the price was $28, so about $1.50 less this year, mainly due to the flu. Prices are expected to be lower, but the cost is still up 25% overall from 2019. So there you go. There's
25%?
There's your inflation news. 25% more than it was just a couple of years ago, 2019.
Yeah, but now we're all on Ozempic, so you'll be fine. Just buy less food.
Thank you for that.
Or semaglutide, which you can get Slim 180.
Speaking of which, the American Medical Association wants weight loss drugs covered by insurers. I am actually very glad to see this.
I have no problem with this.
I'm not either.
If you know the medication that has been being used, and I talk about it, you can get these medications at Slim 180 if you're looking to lose weight, but they have been prescribed off-label for weight loss for a long time. And this is what the people who are in shape say: just eat less and exercise more. And it's just not that simple for a lot of people. And sometimes you need a little help to be able to do those things. I don't know why we would be opposed to helping people lose weight, because that is going to bring down a whole host of issues. I don't know. You've lost a lot of weight in your lifetime.
Yeah, it's hard to eat less. I will say that a lot.
That's like telling an alcoholic, just stop drinking.
Stop drinking. Yeah, it's hard to eat less. And so if you have something like an Ozempic or something that can help you eat less, then I'm for it. I mean, as long as it's not like causing weird health side effects or whatever. But if it works for you and it helps you get healthy, that's good. Bringing your weight down. Whenever my weight came down, my blood pressure came down. Whenever my weight came down, my cholesterol came down. It's all sorts of really good things.
If you wouldn't have lost weight, do you think that for the people who are tuning in for the first time, how old were you when you had a heart attack?
27, 28.
28. And it had something at least to do with your weight?
Yeah. I mean, it was a full blockage. There's a little bit to do with the way the artery grew, but no, everything outside of that was just 100%. It was cholesterol blockage. And it was from being overweight and from eating horribly.
So you had your life threatened.
Yeah.
And that's how you lost weight. If you were able to take a medication that helped you constrict the amount of food that you were eating in a medically guided way, that would have been helpful.
It would have been incredibly helpful because, like, I've had to do it based on sheer willpower, and that's not easy. It is not easy. And I slip up every now and then, and I eat more than I want to and stuff like that. I joke with people, I'm kind of like the Hulk when it comes to food. I'm always hungry, so I just live in a state of perpetual hunger, and I would really rather not live in that state, and like to be able to eat.
You're making an active choice all the time.
Yes, I'm not eating that. Ryan asked me today, I was in his office, he had some cupcakes. He's like, you want one of these cupcakes? And I'm like, yeah, in the worst way. No, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to do that. So it's an active and consistent self. So if I had something that would just make me not hungry and then I could eat and be satiated and have the right amount of calories for my body type, it'd be great.
And it's not the only solution, but it's a helpful catalyst to making other good choices.
I've heard it described that semaglutide in particular reduces food noise in your brain.
Yeah. I mean, I've done it. I use it.
So it's true. Because I've never used it, but I've heard that.
Yes.
That's cool. I mean, that's something that you can't really just do.
What is food noise?
That constant voice telling you, oh, man, I'm hungry. I'd really like to get something right now. It kind of just reduces
It's when your
that.
mind eats food instead of your stomach telling you it's time to eat food.
Yeah. And so that's all a part of the AMA's recommendation here. I love that it's the AMA because that's not – I was fully expecting the government to be the ones to be stepping in here and going, well, this needs to be handled. No, this is a private organization stepping in and saying, we have a lot of influence here. We think this would be good for America.
Isn't it amazing to see photos of Americans versus other countries, and we're just so much more overweight?
Yeah.
As a country. I mean, I know that this isn't a news flash to people, but sometimes, like when you look at, if you look at news coverage or something of other countries, they do not have overweight people like we do.
Yeah.
And it is the status quo.
The only thing I don't like is when they show pictures of people on a beach in the 70s and go, look at what we used to be. And it's like, well, yeah, that was also a beach. Like this is.
People are making choices.
Yeah. But what's wild is you'll look at a picture before and after somebody that has moved from a foreign country to the United States and they almost always put on weight, and somebody moving from the United States to a foreign country and they almost always lose weight.
That's very true.
And, Libby says here, I was thinking this as well. And we can continue this at 125 because I know you got a lot of stuff to talk about. Libby says there's so much more involved with eating, weight issues, etc. Speaking as a dietitian, like the way our food is made, the things that go into our food, the things that go into the meals that you make. Like I'm trying so hard to impart upon my children the healthy way to eat food, and I'm not 100% sure I even know, because it's like you're giving it your all, and then 2 years you're like, dang it, we're not eating eggs again.
Right, yeah.
And so you're it's like you're trying so hard, but the way I teach my kids to eat is like, eat the food as close to how God intended it to be made without all of the other things. So you go to the store and I mean, you might be buying organic. That stuff's not always any better than anything else. You buy the perfect looking apple. How did it get to be perfect looking? I mean, there's just so much. You're up against so much.
Yeah, it's hard.
So if the semaglutide helps you, do it. And seriously, I'm not being paid to say this to you right now specifically, but I am an endorser of Slim 180. They can help you. MySlim180.com. Let's talk more about Thanksgiving and all that at 125. If that's
good.
fine.
Yeah.
Greg Jarrett when we come back.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
This is Andy Berg, board-certified master arborist with Hanson's Tree Service. Maintaining healthy trees in our urban environment is a challenge, and our trees often don't perform how we'd like. Go to hansonstree.com to find out how we can service your trees today.
If you or someone you know is in charge of planning the holiday party this year, let me help you out. Marc Cox here. My friend Grill Master Tony is the best. He's expecting a busy December in terms of catering and deliveries, so get those Christmas orders in early and scratch it off your to-do list. He can do full catering, or he can cook it and drop it off at your house. Brisket, pulled pork, ribs with all the sides. You're going to love it. All you have to do is go to grillmastertony.com to order.
High visibility markers identify the approximate location and provide emergency contact information for some natural gas pipelines. Always call 811 3 days before you dig. For more safety tips and information, visit mosafegas.com. This message is from Mango.
Okay, so you filed your taxes this year, but you know you have past IRS issues. And now the IRS letters are coming. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. Don't ignore those IRS letters. They're important and give you rights and deadlines to defend yourself. Waiting could cause you to lose those rights. Call the Lance Story Law Firm now and let us help you get ahead of the IRS and defend your rights while you still have time. The Lance Story Law Firm is located here in St. Louis, so take the first step and hire a tax resolution attorney. We've made it super easy to schedule your free consultation in person, or you can do a phone call and save travel time. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm. Call today at 314-238-7360. That's 314-238-7360. Or go visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A handshake and a reset. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. What the White House describes as an effort to stabilize relations with China is set to begin in California as President Biden meets with President Xi on the sidelines of a Bay Area summit. One focus will be the fentanyl crisis, with a crackdown expected on Chinese companies that supply precursor chemicals to Latin America in return for lifting some sanctions if China does what it's supposed to do.
Biden's NSC coordinator for the Indo-Pacific told me that China's already beginning to take steps against dozens of companies. The U.S. is watching how that pans out, and he also denied this reporting that this deal would be off the table if Biden criticizes President Xi or the Chinese Communist Party.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich in San Francisco. Another major focus is restoring military-to-military communications and mitigating the potential risks of artificial intelligence, especially when it comes to nuclear warheads. The Israeli military says it found weapons and combat gear when it raided the main hospital in Gaza earlier today, and that a search of the complex continues. Critics accuse Israel of reckless efforts to target Hamas, endangering civilians. The U.S. says Hamas does use hospitals as command centers. Sentencing day for the mother of a 6-year-old boy who shot and wounded his first-grade teacher earlier this year in Virginia.
Deja Taylor's son took her gun to school and shot his first-grade teacher, Abby Zwerner, in class at Rich Neck Elementary in Newport News, Virginia. Zwerner was injured in her hand, and afterwards she said the boy had a history of being randomly violent. Taylor said her son has ADHD. Either way, federal prosecutors said Taylor lied about using drugs, in this case marijuana, while owning a firearm and when purchasing the gun.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Federal prosecutors asking for nearly 2 years in prison. The defense attorney says Taylor is despondent and remorseful and needs help with marijuana addiction. She's facing a separate state charge of child neglect. America is listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
At Simply Safe Home Security, your safety is the only thing that matters. That's why you get 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day, because every home deserves to be protected. Right now, get 50% off the whole home security system named the best of 2023 by U.S. News and World Report. Visit simplysafe.com/radio to save big today. Advanced Home Security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Plenty of sunshine, dry, and also plenty of warm temperatures for this time of year. As we go through our Wednesday afternoon, sunny skies 69, tonight partly cloudy 45. Kind of the same thing on Thursday, partly to mostly sunny 69. Thursday night, clouds, a sprinkle or a light shower, not much. 48 degrees. Friday, a couple of sprinkles in the morning, otherwise partly sunny 55. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
97.1 FM Talk. You're here because you're done playing by their rules. St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
Marc Cox here. I've got an idea. Let's all go to Italy next spring. I'm going to the Amalfi Coast next spring with my friends of conservativetours.com, and you can go along as well. We'll cover Rome, the Amalfi Coast, Puglia, the Isle of Capri, the Abbey of Monte Cassino. It may be one of Italy's best-kept secrets. You know, I've been to the Amalfi Coast before. It is without a doubt one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. While you're there, you can take a high-speed jet foil over to the Isle of Capri, which is a site that everyone needs to see. Positano is absolutely beautiful. Sorrento is just gorgeous. You'll get to visit the ruins of Pompeii as one of your side trips if you go on this trip. It's $53.67 a person. That includes your airfare from St. Louis. Call them toll free at 888-733-9494. It's 888-733-9494 or conservativetours.com.
The Capitol Grill is effortlessly arranged and customized for you. Whether it's a private room, an elegant table setting, dry-aged steaks paired with world-class wines, or an intimate party or business reception, make this part of your memorable private dining experience this holiday season. Every private dining room is elegantly appointed and offers seating capacities that range from 12 to 60. For reservations, call the Capitol Grill in Clayton today, 314-725-0930, or visit thecapitolgrill.com.
Are your health insurance premiums making you sick? Did you go with one of those high-deductible, limited network Obama plans? Well, you're not stuck with it. Or did you go with a health plan outside of the marketplace that's costing you an arm and a leg? There are better options. Kim Kiefer at H&L Agency offers plans where you only meet a deductible if you go into a hospital. You pick your doctors, and it's 30 to 60% lower than most other plans. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, you need to talk to an expert like Kim Kiefer. Call 800-975-2841. That's 800-975-2841. Or go to hnlagency.org. And is spelled out. That's HANDL agency.org. Kim can customize a plan chosen and managed by you, not the government. Again, call Kim at 800-975-2841. That's 800-975-2841.
Marc Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
Tony La Russa here. Men, are you running out of stamina rounding third base? If so, call my friends at Victory Men's Health in O'Fallon, Illinois. Scoring at home is important, just as important as crossing the plate with the winning run. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right.
Right? You need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Teacher. Yeah, I think it's a really big problem when we're not putting money into education and not spending it where it needs to be spent. I also think there's this weird lack of patriotism in a lot of our schools in America, and that bothers me as a history teacher. And so I think we are focusing a lot on the wrong parts of education and not really focusing on what we need to be teaching our kids.
There's a history teacher speaking there. She's from Minnesota or Montana, I believe it was. And she's talking about the lack of patriotism in our educational systems. Why is that? How do we get to that point? Because that doesn't just show up one day and, get into the curriculum or into the ethos of the educators that are in the classrooms. How do we get to there? I came across this article on Fox News in the opinion section, and it says it's time to revive the American spirit. Here's how we start. And I really was drawn to it because it was identifying a problem and offering a solution. And it was written by Greg Jarrett. And he joins us now. He's a Fox News legal analyst, a former defense attorney and law professor. And he's got a book out now called The Constitution and Other Patriotic Documents. Greg, welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Good to have you.
Oh, Annie, good to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Everywhere you look right now, everything is on fire. There's disasters and chaos everywhere. And you choose to take all of this news that you're inundated with every day and say, we need to revive the American spirit. What pushed you to do that?
Well, I think this book has met its appropriate time, which is now, as people are protesting across America. They don't seem to appreciate and understand how lucky they are that, the founders of our country, blessed with extraordinary intelligence and vision, they steeled our resolve for independence, and they invented this new form of government by the people and for the people. And, young people in particular take for granted these cherished rights, their freedoms, the opportunity for prosperity, to do anything they can. And the problem, it seems to me, is in education, as the history teacher the clip you just played, pointed out. And I saw this firsthand with my own daughters. They're grown now, but when they were in public schools in high school, I was appalled that they weren't being taught the fundamentals of American government and American history. There seemed to be an indoctrination program. Let's brainwash them to think that our country isn't very good and that there's a lot to be ashamed of in America. Obviously, we've made course corrections over the last 2 centuries. No union is perfect. That's an aspiration, and we continue to try to achieve it. But I wrote this book to fill the gap, and I hope that educators read the book and use it in their classrooms to teach young people what America is all about. And, this is a tribute to the many patriots who made America great. We're a beacon of hope for liberty, prosperity, and justice. And in the book, people can read our nation's most important documents and speeches and letters that changed the course of history. Their inspiring words, their galvanizing ideas shaped America and our virtues and our ideals.
I love to hear that. My husband is a history teacher in middle school, so I can't wait to get him a copy of this for his own purposes. But, we've talked to your colleagues, Brett Baer, Brian Kilmeade. He's on the air right before we come on, and they're always writing about these historical figures that kind of came together and probably were involved in some of these documents that are in your book, The Constitution of the United States and Other Patriotic Documents. And I think it's interesting to hear from authors like you who have done your research on this. to tie together who might be, these are historical old guys. These are people in our history lessons in the past. We know what their pictures look like up in frames in classrooms or maybe in textbooks. But I'm wondering, how do you tie together these old guys of the past with the moment that we're in right now where freedom and liberty, as we understand it as Americans, is in question?
Well, you can read in the book the warnings that have come to, sadly, to fruition today. For example, you can read how John Adams warned that unscrupulous men in power, if left unchecked, particularly unelected bureaucrats, would become, to use his term, ravenous beasts of prey, destroying our government. And Annie, you and I have talked about this, the weaponization by the Department of Justice, the FBI, the intel agencies. They are proving that Adams was right. George Washington openly worried that the creation of political parties in America would undermine our freedoms. They would become these potent engines of unprincipled men, said Washington in his farewell address. Unfortunately, nobody listened. His words went to no avail.
We're speaking with Greg Jarrett right now, Fox News legal analyst, a former defense attorney and law professor, and he's the author of his new book, The Constitution and Other Patriotic Documents. When we talk about the restoration of this American spirit or the revival of it, I think that where a lot of Americans are very forlorn right now is where does that restoration begin? Because a lot of, I'm conservative myself. I speak to a lot of conservatives, of course. We're waiting to get the right guy, the right girl in office to begin this process. But I challenge that thought process, and I want to know what you think about it. Does the restoration start with the right government or with the right movement culturally, politically, whatever it might be, of the American people?
Well, I think it's a collection of the right people in Congress, the right people in the executive branch, beginning with the presidency, to instill a greater awareness and appreciation for the principles of America and what made us so great. And then it extends to education. We did a Man on the Street segment on Fox News a couple of days ago in which people, particularly young people, were asked fundamental questions. What was the Revolutionary War about? Who won the Civil War? What was the Cold War? A young woman responded to the last one by saying, well, it was chilly back then.
Yeah.
They all flunked, and they flunked because they're not being educated in our educational system. They're being brainwashed, sort of a Stockholm syndrome, to hate America in many ways. And we see this in the protests, the anti-Semitic demonstrations taking place on college campuses that have extended here in New York City the other night, violent protests. And these people are endorsing terrorism.
Yep.
My Lord, don't you understand that terrorism is murder and violence? And in Israel, it's the beheading of children and setting people on fire and torturing them. And yet they think this is somehow, socially acceptable. And where's the cancel culture when you need them?
Oh, man.
These people need to be canceled and re-educated.
Yeah, it's important to understand, I think, and you're hitting on this quite a bit, that the education system in our country, it's not as though these people are just not studying. They're just not participating in doing their homework or passing the classes. There's an intentional movement that has wrapped its arms around the education system. And it's always interesting to me how the cost of education always goes up and the government is always there to make sure that it's affordable for anybody through taxpayer loans. Why don't we ever talk about the cost of education to lower it? Because we need the people to be in these systems that teach these things. This is an active movement to teach people the antithesis of what created this country and ultimately makes this country great. I think there are people being educated to hate America.
Yeah, and, public schools, to some extent, have become so lethargic when it comes to education that they're almost brain dead. And the remedy for that, it seems to me, is school choice, which means competition. And, that's the only way to get rid of the all-powerful teachers union and its leader, Randy Weingarten, which is why, and we had an article on Fox News about this, why so many parents have now chosen to homeschool their kids because they're just not getting educated properly. Well, Weingarten and the teachers union are to blame. They don't care about kids. They care about power and money. And, sadly, they have mangled their own purpose, and it's a shame.
Before we let you go, we're speaking with Greg Jarrett right now. I want to just lean into your legal expertise. You are the Fox News legal analyst. When we're talking about reviving the American spirit right now, people need to believe in the systems that are there that we elect people to. And there have been enormous questioning of elections on both sides of the aisle. When Hillary Clinton lost, there weren't a lot of Democrats who were just saying, well, that's just the way it goes. And then, of course, in 2020, we saw the same thing. When we watch President Trump, who's the leading Republican candidate for this election, go through the legal system that is being used against him in the way it is, how do Americans respond to the current moment we're in with President Trump being in the situation he's in so that we can get past it and restore that American spirit?
Well, I think they're already responding. There's been a backlash. Just look at the polling data. Every time Trump is indicted, and all four of the indictments have been politically driven and timed to interfere in the election. The American public has responded with even greater support and more donations for the Trump campaign. And so they are speaking out. Americans will not be fooled by these machinations, whether it be Jack Smith and the special counsel in the two cases he's brought, or Fani Willis in Georgia, Democratic elected DA, and Alvin Bragg in Manhattan, bringing absurd, laughable, ludicrous cases. Americans can see what's happening here, and they're reacting to it. So.
Well, I'm looking forward to getting a copy of your new book, The Constitution of the United States and Other Patriotic Documents, to look through it and, as I said, share with my educator husband. Thank you for writing it, and also thank you for talking to us about a positive solution forward in that opinion piece on Fox News about reviving the American spirit.
Well, we'll get a copy of the book to you, and it's a great Christmas gift for people during the holidays. Something under the tree.
That would be amazing. Thank you, Greg Jarrett, for being with us. It's always a pleasure to speak with you.
Take care, Annie.
Yes, you as well. Bye-bye. He's the Fox News legal analyst, a former defense attorney and law professor, and his new book, The Constitution and Other Patriotic Documents. There is a series, I've talked about it before on the air, but PBS put it out. It's over 10 years old, I think. But I think it's still fine because it's talking about these. I actually prefer to read the historical things that maybe are pre-woke indoctrination that infiltrates a lot of educational resources. You get something from around the early 2000s, I'm kind of feeling like that's okay. And then after that, it starts to get a little sideways. But PBS puts out this series called Crash Course, and they're 8-minute explanations of just everything in history. They do science, English, like all the different subjects. And if you want to learn about the Civil War or different parts of the Civil War, they'll have different episodes on that. And so I like to consume different kinds of ways to relearn about these things that we did go through school. We were educated in it. But it's more important now than ever to really grasp it and understand where we've come from so that we can help guide as educated voters and friends and family, guide our country forward to make sure that we are pursuing a restoration of the American spirit. I think it's very important. So I'm looking forward to get that book. I hope he does send me one. I was just about to buy it. I'm going to hold off on that for about a day. And then maybe buy my own and give my husband one and keep one here for myself. Go check it out, The Constitution and Other Patriotic Documents. All right, let's get Ryan Wiggins back in studio here. When we come back, you're listening to The Annie Frey Show. On the YouTube live broadcast today, the live chat poll is, can the American spirit be restored? Yes, no, or it's just fine. Calm down, Annie. I added that last part. It's not part of the option. Option 4 could have been calm down, Annie. I wonder how many people would have voted for that. I'm thinking about Friday's poll being what's better, Bluey or Ryan Wiggins?
Ooh, I like it.
If that ends up being the poll on Friday, you'll know I didn't have anything else. We'll see how it is. Stick around. Ryan Wiggins back in studio for more Thanksgiving inflation news when we return.
Stars and stripes, and the eagle flies.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
And happiness ain't out of reach.
Stewart's American Mortgage is home of the bagel loan, and when interest rates are up, you need to make sure that you are getting the best deal for yourself when you're making your next home purchase. If you have a realtor and they have a couple recommendations for lenders, they may not know Stewie or they may not have worked with him before, but you can. You can reach out to him and talk to Stewie about how the bagel loan can help you. How does it sound to not pay closing costs? It's amazing. I've done 2 refinances with Stewie when rates were going down, and I refinanced to get those lower rates. It's possible that the rates that are out there right now are lower than the rates that you got maybe 6 months ago or whenever they went sky high. You can refinance with Stewie, and if you use the bagel loan, you don't pay any closing costs to do it, so it's a no-brainer. Go for it. You got to call him or text him at 314-324-4440. But if you're looking to purchase a home, you're going to want to connect with Stewie so you can make sure you get the best deal for yourself right there from the jump. 314-324-4440. You can Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Is your car still under warranty? No, not anymore. My mechanic just suggested an extended service plan from Ox Car Care.
Ox Car Care?
Yeah, Ox will cover repair bills if anything happens to the car. New brakes, transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait, you pay nothing on repairs? Ox gets it fixed? Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance?
Yeah, you don't pay. Ox pays. Ox even has a 30-day money-back guarantee and is A+ rated on the BBB. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike those other warranty companies.
The last thing I need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-224-9174. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox Car Care. 800-224-9174. 800-224-9174. Or go to oxcarcare.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
The vote is in. STL Today has certified the result. Onderlaw has been voted 2023's best law firm in St. Louis.
When you're injured, call Onderlaw at 314 or 618-9000000.
How would you like to make no mortgage payments until next year? Are you tired of making minimum payments on high-interest credit cards? Is student loan repayment giving you the blues? Your home equity is at an all-time high. Use that equity to save hundreds every month. Call 314-567-GOLD now and give yourself a payment break. That's 314-567-GOLD. Or visit goldenoaklending.com. NMLS 114937.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
Hey, it's Bo Matthews, and if invasive plants and trees have overtaken your pasture, roads, trails, or dams, then you need Missouri Brush Control. Their special forestry mulching equipment helps landowners reclaim their property. Enjoy your land like you've always dreamed of. To learn more, visit MissouriBrushControl.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
I have been preaching for weeks that the area in front of Enterprise Center is unsafe because of the homeless encampment, and here we have another shooting on Tuesday. We're going to talk about it Wednesday afternoon.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
We're not trying to decouple from China. What we're trying to do is change the relationship for the better. From my perspective, if in fact the Chinese people who are in trouble right now economically, if the average if the average citizen in China was able to have a decent paying job, that benefits them and it benefits all of us. But I'm not going to continue to sustain the support for positions where if we want to invest in China, we have to turn over all our trade secrets.
Well, that's from earlier this week, yesterday or the day before, where the president was talking about anticipating his meeting with President Xi from China. They are sitting down right now for brunch, maybe? I don't know. It's probably lunch because that says 11:28 Pacific. They're in Woodside, California, very clean and neat and tidy, California. And President Biden has just delivered some remarks to President Xi, and President Xi is responding. Let's listen in to see what this high-stakes meeting entails.
And to host you in the United States is a great honor and a pleasure, particularly as it relates to our summit today and for the APEC leaders meeting this week. Look, this time of year, about a year and a day ago, we met in Bali on the sidelines of the G20. Since then, key members of our teams have had important discussions on issues matters to both our nations and to the world. But as always, there is no substitute to face-to-face discussions. I've always found our discussions straightforward and frank, and I've always appreciated it. Mr. President, we know each other for a long time. We haven't always agreed, which was not a surprise to anyone. But our meetings have always been candid, straightforward, and useful. I've never doubted what you've told me in terms of your candid nature in which you speak. I value our conversation because I think it's paramount that you and I understand each other clearly, leader to leader, with no misconceptions or miscommunication. We have to ensure that competition does not veer into conflict. And we also have to manage it responsibly, that competition. That's what the United States wants and what we intend to do. I also believe it's a world wants for both of us, candid exchange. We also have a responsibility to our people and the work in the world to work together when we see it in our interest to do so. And a critical global challenge that we face, from climate change to counter-narcotics to artificial intelligence, demand our joint efforts. So I look forward to beginning this discussion, and I welcome you, and the floor is yours, Mr. President. And again, welcome back.
So they're sitting at a table, and President Biden sitting directly across from President Xi. President Xi is going to respond now. China is on the left side here, and America is on the right.
Mr. President,
we're going to listen to a translator.
Good morning. Coming here, I think of your trip to China when I was the Vice President of China. We had a meeting. It was 12 years ago. I still remember our interactions very vividly, and it always gives me a lot of thoughts. Last time we met in Bali, you said it was a year and a day ago. A lot has happened since then. The world has emerged from the COVID pandemic, but is still under its tremendous impacts. The global economy is recovering, but its momentum remains sluggish. Industrial and supply chains are still under the threat of interruption, and protectionism is rising. All these are grave problems. The China-US relationship, which is the most important bilateral relationship in the world, should be perceived and envisioned in a broad context of the accelerating global transformations unseen in a century. It should develop in a way that benefits our two peoples and fulfills our responsibility for human progress. China-US relationship has never been smooth sailing over the past 50 years or more, and it always faces problems of one kind or another. Yet it has kept moving forward amid twists and turns. For two large countries like China and the United States, turning their back on each other is not an option. It is unrealistic for one side to remodel the other, and conflict and confrontation has unbearable consequences for both sides. I'm still of the view that major country competition is not the prevailing trend of current times and cannot solve the problems facing China and the United States or the world at large. Planet Earth is big enough for the two countries to succeed, and one country's success is an opportunity for the other. It is an objective fact that China and the United States are different in history, culture, social system, and development path. However, as long as they respect each other, coexist in peace, and pursue win-win cooperation, they will be fully capable of rising above differences and find the right way for the two major countries to get along with each other. I firmly believe in the promising future of the bilateral relationship. Mr. President, you and I, we are at the helm of China-US relations. We shoulder heavy responsibilities for the two peoples, for the world, and for history. I look forward to having an in-depth exchange of views and reaching new understandings with you on strategic and overarching issues critical to the direction of China-US relations and on major issues affecting world peace and development. I wish to thank you for your thoughtful arrangements for our meeting today and for our participation at the APEC meeting. Thank you.
So that was the translator for President Xi sitting down at a table right directly across from President Biden. And I'm interested to hear, there's the reaction taking place right now on Fox News. Chris Christie's on the screen. When you see Chris Christie talking in this capacity, Ryan, are you like, I kind of want to know what he has to say?
Yeah, I think he's a smart guy in a lot of these. I think in foreign policy in general, I think he's interesting to listen to.
Would you I think I know the answer to this. I'll ask you anyway. Would you think that he'd be a good attorney general?
Yeah, I do. He's no nonsense. As long as he's got your back, if it's Trump, I would worry that he didn't have his back, that he didn't have his best interest.
Do you think
just based on the campaign?
Do you think in Trump's current state of mind, court case after court case after court case, courtroom after courtroom after courtroom, that we serve at the pleasure of the president. That's what the phrase is that you should adhere to. I mean, as the attorney general, you're not there to enact your plans. It's the administration that you serve under, and you serve at the pleasure of the president. And if the president wants to do something and you're not willing to be a part of that plan, you don't implement your own plan, you step down.
Yeah.
Or you get relieved of your duties.
Yeah.
Let's listen to what Chris Christie has to say here in response to this, because I want to dig in a little bit deeper before I get too far astray from this meeting.
What's going to happen in public is going to be, I think, significantly different, or at least I hope, than what's going to happen behind closed doors. They're going to do their initial first statements that are mostly courteous and pretty empty of any specifics. And then hopefully when they get behind closed doors, they're going to be able to talk about the things that really should be discussed. And I hope that the president brings up the role that China is playing to foment violence around the world. And that's what they're doing by funding the Russians in their war against Ukraine, all of them working together to support Hamas. These are things that I hope the president brings up and asks President Xi to account himself for.
So, Governor, we understand that there's maybe 2 or 3 deliverables. There is an agreement to renew military-to-military contacts, which, of course, is important. Potential deal on AI when it comes to certain technologies and nuclear weapons. And then, as well, a deal on fentanyl. Can we trust that China is really going to live up to whatever terms of the deal there might be? Because it's the prime supplier of fentanyl precursors to Mexico. The cross-border business in fentanyl is huge, as we know, and it's kind of in China's interest to keep the cycle of addiction going in this country.
Well, the answer is no. We can't trust them, but as Ronald Reagan said back in his day, trust but verify. And so, okay, I'd rather have us talking and having a deal with China, and now we have to have stringent ways to verify whether they're actually keeping up. And frankly, given our intelligence capability, we should be able to verify whether China's keeping up or not. And if there's not, there needs to be real ramifications for China, because what they're doing is another method of waging war against us, John. You know, they're sending this stuff which they know is going to come over the United States. Last year killed 110,000 of our citizens. This is war against the U.S. That's done through an intermediary in Mexico in the drug cartels. So I'm okay with speaking to them and with coming to agreements. But we have to use our intelligence capability to verify that they're keeping up with their part.
All right. Well, everything we're
so
talking
Chris
about.
Christie reacting there on the set with Fox News and their hosts about the meeting between President Xi and President Biden. I kind of feel like you listen into that to see if there are gaffes, because there's no major news. Like when you sit down to share a meal with somebody for the first time, and it'd be funny if they weren't actually going to eat. It's like just sit here for the cameras. Yeah. Very fancy table spread out there for them to break bread over a general welcome to the country, to the United States. Neither one of them said anything to me that stuck out like, oh my gosh, Joe Biden really laid it out there for him. Or President Xi said something insulting. I didn't hear that.
No, that's actually what Christie was saying too, is that the meeting publicly was going to look a lot different than what happens behind closed doors. So, of course, you ask, well, then what's happening behind closed doors? I think the idea is that we don't know, and whatever we're fed is going to be a version from our press secretary or whoever that's going to tell us what actually happened.
There are a host of people sitting there with President Biden. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is sitting to Joe Biden's right, and the way that y'all are going to come across this video later, and I want you to think of me, because we were commenting the way that Blinken is staring directly at Joe Biden while Joe Biden is speaking and reading from his binder. There's an intense stare, and I don't know what his mouth was doing, but I think it was a ventriloquist thing. It's like when you see it, you'll go, oh.
yeah, it's very obvious that Blinken was positioned in a way where he could pull a string with his left hand, and his jaw was locked in that method that ventriloquists use, so that they can talk without talking.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like that the whole time.
It was weird.
And then he had a long drink of water where he was proving that he wasn't doing it, and I'm like, I'm on to you.
And then Joe Biden spit water out all over the table on President Xi.
Uh-huh.
It's very bizarre.
Yeah.
But impressive.
That part of the meeting, I would say, was the weirdest.
Brad, don't you wonder when they go behind closed doors how much of the talking President Biden does?
I don't think he does a lot of it. I wonder how much he's involved, how much he's like, okay, well, here, they're going to talk to you.
I don't know if you can do that, though. What, you want to talk about projecting weakness?
Oh, I don't think they're worried about it.
They already know, don't they? I mean,
who?
Xi.
Who's
oh,
they?
yeah.
China. They're not expecting to sit down and like, oh, man, President Biden really surprised us.
And I don't
know, but no, of course not. Everybody knows, except for Jill Biden. Everybody knows. But if China's going to come to the United States and you're going to go behind closed door meetings where the United States is going to say, knock it off with the fentanyl or else XYZ, if the president's not sitting there speaking those words, it's like all they have to do is say, make us. So you can't concede into a perception that exists of weakness and just roll with it with China. You might be able to do that with a intra-party argument between one wing of your Democratic Party and the right and whatever. I don't know. I've never been in one of those meetings, so it's hard for me to project. Like I've read books and I understand how these things are negotiated, but I just think that the huge risk in this meeting right now is that you can confirm how weak we are with the behavior and the performance of the president of the United States.
I think with this administration, there's anybody who says it at all, whether it's Biden or anybody else, they know there's not going to be much follow through because there never is with any of these foreign policy issues. They don't follow through with them. And that's what Chris Christie was saying. He's like, they have to show there are real ramifications for basically waging war with us through our southern border, or else nothing will change at all. They have to show there's going to be ramifications for these things.
But like you were saying, I don't think there's anybody in this administration can do that. I mean, if you think back to, was it Alaska, back whenever the Biden administration first had people meet with China, China went to Alaska and dressed down Blinken and Sullivan in front of the world and everybody, and they didn't say a word. They just sat there and took it. And I just don't think that this administration is concerned with. I think they're concerned with appeasement. What can we do to make them happy? And that's how we'll bring about peace. They're not concerned with showing themselves as strong at all.
I think that did I see a lower third on Fox that says there's a prime time
7 p.m. Eastern
press conference? So 7 Eastern. So 6 o'clock tonight, probably. So I would tune in for that. We'll continue to cover it as well and see if any news is actually made. You tune into something like that because if there is a gaffe made or a threat made or an unexpected stance taken, we want to be able to have that for you when it happens. I don't think we had that there. So we'll continue to follow any news that breaks from it and move on in the next segment. Back to Thanksgiving inflation.
Oh, yeah. Thanksgiving stories in general. Okay, so... Oh, yeah, it's the end of the segment. Yes, we will do that, Annie. I'm pretty good at this thing.
Which thing?
All this.
You've been in radio how long?
It's all this stuff.
I was going to say, where are you going?
The stuff. I'm good at the stuff.
Why don't you set us up for the next segment and give us a good tease and take us out? Make people want to stay and hear what's next, Ryan.
So if you heard at 12:45, I started talking about stories that were either indirectly or directly related to Thanksgiving. We're going to continue that in the next because there was so much good content. We couldn't get to all of it. We had to let it bleed over into the next one. And that is coming up next on the Annie Frey Show here on 97.1 FM Talk.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
The Retirement Advisory Group, 314-993-9494. I was just looking at some of my stocks, and they're doing okay today. They may not do okay tomorrow. You never know. And if you're nearing retirement, you don't want to be hanging on the whims of the ups and the downs in the market to make sure that your retirement is going to be there to protect you as you are retiring from working and making an income. You've worked hard to build up a nice nest egg, and now you need to protect it. You've got people. All you got to do is call to schedule an appointment with the Retirement Advisory Group and Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, and Tammy Kershaw. It's a phone call away, 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. They're online as well at retirementkey.com. You can set up a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review where you're going to be able to explain what you have, and they're going to explain how to protect it. They give you that information, and it's how they've helped so many other 97.1 FM Talk listeners, how many other Annie Frey Show listeners. I've heard from you. I've heard the rave reviews, and I want to pass that along to other people out there who are thinking, maybe this is worth my time, worth a phone call, worth a sit down. 314-993-9494. You can find them online right now at retirementkey.com.
By texting 26022, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Tax Lien Code. Message and data rates may apply. Terms apply. Available at taxliencode.com.
Have you ever wondered how America's most successful people build their wealth? By investing in tax liens. And you can too. The Tax Lien Code Masterclass is coming right here to St. Louis, where you'll have the opportunity to learn the same simple blueprint that tax lien investor Brian Peterson and his partners have used to purchase over $40 million in tax liens. With tax lien investing, you can earn government-secured double-digit returns on your investment as high as 30%. And that's just the beginning. Listen, if you've ever been interested in real estate investing but weren't sure how to get started, this is your chance. No prior experience needed. For 2 free tickets to the 2-hour Tax Lien Code Masterclass right here in St. Louis, text EARN to 26022. Hurry, with high demand, seats will fill up. Text EARN to 26022. Get 2 free tickets now. Text EARN to 26022.
I'm a pilot, martial artist, mountain biker, hiker,
The thing that brings me down is my feet. When my wife finally talked me into going into the Good Feet store, the salesperson there immediately started investing himself in my problem. And now that I wear the inserts all the time, I'm not feeling the pain. They're comfortable to have in, and it's uncomfortable not to feel them in my shoes because I know the positive effect they've had. This is not something that you could solve online. There's got to be somebody there that can help you find that fit. You put in the arch supports and your day becomes better and the clouds go away and it's a good life. Good Feet has saved the day.
Call now 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive west of I-270 in the Plaza with Subway in Shiloh, Illinois, and at goodfeetstlouis.com. Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Enjoy comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief. And Good Feet arch supports are proudly made in the USA.
Hey, Bernie Federico here. Over the years, you've heard me talk about Lakeside Renovation and Design. My friends Matt and Dan have been in the business for over 25 years and have done everything on my home, from James Hardy siding, Infinity from Marvin Windows, and even a couple of room additions. These guys are great, and you can trust them with your home. Check out their website to see for yourself all the beautiful work they've done. You can find them online at lakesidерenovationanddesign.com. Be sure to ask about their unbelievable financing options. Lakeside Renovation and Design.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
The Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll of the day is, can the American spirit be restored? Yes, no, or it's just fine. 3 options today. Can the American spirit be restored? Let us know even how you define the American spirit in the comments. The Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll. It is 1:49. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
St. Louis's destination for questioning the narrative.
Your home for conservative talk.
This is 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. So, Ryan, take it from here.
That's a cool song. What was that?
It's Grace Potter. Turn it back up. Cold, something about cold heart, broken heart.
Is it new?
No.
Huh, never heard it.
Empty Heart.
Empty Heart.
I love the song.
Okay.
I could have let it play through this entire segment that you were going to do, but I wanted to hear you more.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
We did at 12:45, Wiggins America, the stories topics were Thanksgiving-related news and news that's indirectly related to Thanksgiving. We talked about how much your Thanksgiving meal is going to cost this year. And, hey, good news, it is down slightly this year just because the avian flu is gone from last year. Yeah. Right? I know. Let's cheer for no more avian flu ever. The AMA is wanting insurers to cover weight loss drugs. Those are the couple that you missed from the last Wiggins America. We talked about those quite a bit. Now, here's the ones that we didn't get to. Southwest Airlines is boosting the price of alcoholic drinks just in time for holiday travel. Now who's the pro? Now who's the pro?
I'm communicating about off-air things with Brad right now.
Yes, you were definitely off air when you were trying to communicate just now.
Yeah. But I wasn't trying to communicate with the people.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
at the end I was.
Yeah.
But before that I wasn't. The flights I take are 2-hour flights. They don't sell alcohol.
Have you ever drank on a plane?
Yes, I did. One time.
Oh, yeah.
When the first time we went to Disney World and we took a 5 a.m. flight and the woman in front of me vomited into the seat in front of her, which you're thinking, wow, Annie, good thing you were behind her in the seat, except for the vomit deflected off the front of the seat into my mouth behind her.
Yeah, it's a tremendous, powerful vomit.
It was fizzy.
Oh, yeah?
In my mouth.
Oh, in your mouth. Okay. It was fizzy in your mouth.
I sat there and I was horrified, as anybody would be. And I'm going to just tell you, it wasn't a lot, but it was enough to know that it had happened. And it was I was sitting on the window seat. It was in the wall next to me. So I you know how I'm sitting right now? This is how I was sitting in the chair. Just shocked.
Except with your mouth wide open.
At that point, I licked my shirt. I'm like, ah. And then the flight attendant came to, of course, attend to this woman, and she just slowly panned behind. I think I looked like I had seen a ghost. I was just horrified.
She could probably hear the sound of the fizz.
And she goes, "Are you okay?" And I just shook my head. No. And I go, "It got in my mouth." And she goes, "Do you want some whiskey?" And I was like, "I do."
She make you pay for it?
Yeah. She's like, inflation, Bidenomics,
Just give me
prices
your
just
card.
went up. This is in the Trump
And
years.
you're like, man, you're talking to the right person.
So I took 2 bottles of whiskey, and it was it might have been 6:15 in the morning.
Oh,
And I hit those 2 bottles, and I remember someone going, "Did you spit it out, the whiskey?" And I'm like, "No, why didn't I think of that? I drank it."
Yeah,
I should've-
that's what you naturally would have done.
Drank it or spit
No,
it out?
spit it out.
Yeah.
I mean, by the time I got it, it was probably 15 minutes after the incident had happened.
Oh, gosh, that's terrible. I never heard that part of that story. 15 minutes had gone by?
Well, they were attending to the woman.
I just
as they
assumed that it
should
was
have
maybe
been.
3-4 minutes. 15 minutes is a long time to have somebody else's puke in your mouth.
I had swallowed it by then.
Oh. So it wasn't
You're
fizzing
telling
anymore.
me, man. It was horrible.
I just picture it sitting in your mouth, you holding your tongue out, just waiting for somebody to come help, and the
That's
sound
not-
of
that's
holy
not-
water hitting a Bible is just.
That's not unlike what happened. That's actually, I was just like what did I do? Somebody take my tongue. Get it out of my mouth. Man, how many listeners did we just lose? Shoot. Shoot.
Well, it's something that everybody identifies
What did this
with.
have to do with Thanksgiving?
It's just
Oh,
that
whiskey on a
Southwest
plane.
Airlines
Yeah.
is boosting the price of alcoholic
That's
drinks.
what I drink.
That's all it is. I don't think I've ever had a drink on a plane. And it's not because I'm opposed to it. It's just not free.
You're going into your drinking. Yeah. That is the Wiggins way.
Yeah, they come up and they say, "What do you want to drink?" And I'm like, "What's free?"
Ryan would drink anything if it were free.
Yeah, they're like, "We have just soda water
Here's some vomit from the lady in the
and
front. It's free.
and maple syrup."
Ryan's like, "Make it a
give it to
double."
me straight. Next story. I don't want to grow up. Once defunct Toys R Us is set to open a massive new store in Mall of America.
Was there anything more magical than walking into a Toys R Us when you're a kid? I only did it a few times.
Man.
Thank you, because I only did it a couple times too, but I do remember
As a
because
parent?
it was
No,
as a kid.
I was going to say, as a parent, why would you want to take your kid in there?
That's why.
That's why you didn't go.
Yep.
That's probably why they went bankrupt. Because parents are like, heck no, I'm not
going
taking
there.
my kid in there. Why would I do that? What do you think I did? Win the lottery?
They became a place that you went. I think they had a lot of gaming. They had a big gaming section there, where people, whenever
Like
I
board
would go
games?
through, video games.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever I would go through, the most of the store would not have a whole lot of people in it, but the game section, there was tons of kids.
They had
in
a
there.
huge gaming section. I remember that, but that wasn't like the main gist of the store. There was like action toys and bicycles and board games and Legos. Oh my gosh. I would go in it as an adult and still get that magical feeling.
I don't think it was around when I was an adult. I'm not.
It was around when I was an adult and we had kids. Here's the problem. When my twins were 2 or 3 years old, they went out of business in 2018, so this makes sense. But they had gift cards and they wouldn't take their own gift cards anymore because they were going bankrupt. I'm like, "Oh, thanks. Great gift that I have here that I can't spend." That's the only thing I wanted to get across in this entire Wiggins America
Good
was how
story.
mad I was about that.
Well, they're back now. You can go to the Mall of America.
No, I don't have the card anymore.
Well, that's on you. That's not their problem.
I didn't know they were going to come back 5 years later.
Seems like it's your problem.
They were a store and wouldn't accept their own gift cards.
That's how you know it isn't going in the right direction.
Yeah.
I'd go to a Toys R Us right now if I could. All right, stick around. Morning Fry Show in a few minutes here. Can the American spirit be restored? Go to the Andy Fry YouTube channel. Say hi to us on the break. We're watching for your comments. You can let us know on your thoughts on that poll. We'll be right back.
By now, you've probably heard of Upside, the free app that gets you real cash back at gas stations. But Upside is so much more than just a gas app. Upside lets you earn cash back at over 100,000 locations that include convenience stores, supermarkets, popular national chains, and local favorites. Just download the free app, claim an offer, and get real cash back on your purchase. There are no complicated points or rebates. With Upside, you can earn an average of 8% cash back on groceries and dining. That's 8% real cash back on top of your credit card rewards. You can use Upside to earn cash back even on debit card purchases. Talk about fueling up. Download Upside today. Use promo code MORE10 and get a 10% cashback bonus on your first purchase. Get the Upside app and use promo code MORE10 for an extra 10% cashback bonus. That's promo code MORE10. Offers vary by user and location. Terms and conditions apply. Go to upside.com for details.
Marc Cox here. Selecting the right real estate agent to sell your home is the single most important factor when selling a house. Imagine needing heart surgery. Would you choose a surgeon who performs hundreds of successful surgeries a year or one with minimal experience and mediocre success rates? Selling your home is like doing open heart surgery on your finances. That's why I recommend you call Gloria Liu with your home sold guaranteed realty and get to know her like I have. Gloria will give you multiple selling options when selling your home. For 20 years, she's been helping home sellers just like you get the most money for their home. Listen, experience, a proven track record, and guarantees matter when you're relying on an agent to get you the most money in the least amount of time. Selling your home, there's only one call you should make. Call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be a sign that your digestive system isn't working at its best? Taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil fiber powders help promote your daily digestive health using a plant-based fiber called psyllium. The gelling action of this special fiber traps and removes waste, so you can feel lighter and more energetic. Metamucil, promoting digestive health for a better you. Learn more at metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A high-stakes meeting underway. Lisa Brady, Fox News. And President Biden just telling China's President Xi there's no substitute for face-to-face.
I've never doubted what you've told me in terms of your candid nature in which you speak. I value our conversation because I think it's paramount that you and I understand each other clearly, leader to leader, with no misconceptions or miscommunication.
President Biden emphasizing the U.S. goal of managing competition responsibly. President Xi says the U.S.-China relationship should benefit the people of both countries.
China-U.S. relationship has never been smooth sailing over the past 50 years or more, and it always faces problems of one kind or another. Yet it has kept moving forward amid twists and turns. For two large countries like China and the United States, turning their back on each other is not an option.
Xi, through a translator, says conflict and confrontation have unbearable consequences for both sides. They're meeting on the sidelines of a summit in California, the first in more than a year, and since tensions have heightened over a number of issues, including a spy balloon that China still denies was for spying. As fighting continues between Israel and Hamas, FBI Director Christopher Wray tells lawmakers terror groups are calling for attacks against Americans and allies.
ISIS urged its followers to target Jewish communities in the United States and Europe.
He says there's no evidence of any specific credible threat. A federal jury now has the case against David DePape, the man charged with multiple counts in the hammer attack on then House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband in their California home last year. DePape testified about conspiracy theories and said his intent was to target corruption, but that he turned violent when Mrs. Pelosi wasn't home and his plan was ruined. He still faces a separate state trial on charges including attempted murder. America is listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Simply Safe was named the best home security of 2023 by U.S. News and World Report. But we don't do what we do for the accolades. We do it to protect you and everything you love. Our advanced sensors and HD cameras are powered by 24/7 professional monitoring for fast emergency response. Visit simplysafe.com/radio to get 50% off any new system today. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Plenty of sunshine, dry, and also plenty of warm temperatures for this time of year. As we go through our Wednesday afternoon, sunny skies 69, tonight partly cloudy 45. Kind of the same thing on Thursday, partly to mostly sunny 69. Thursday night, clouds, a sprinkle or a light shower, not much. 48 degrees. Friday, a couple of sprinkles in the morning. Otherwise, partly sunny, 55. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
If you haven't been to the dentist in a while, I want to recommend Fountains Family Dentistry to you because I know Dr. Ty Parker and I've known him for a long time, and I very, very much endorse him and his practice. I watched him build it, actually. I got to walk through it when he was just putting the floor plan together, and I said, well, what's this room for, this room for? Well, it was all just different equipment. I mean, he's got state-of-the-art stuff there. He always has been that way. And I encourage you to see him if you have any sort of dental anxiety, partly because they're very good at giving you the latest and greatest. So you don't have to do like anything that's outdated tech, stuff that's going to be faster for you and easier for you, but also because the staff is just so nice. All the reviews that I usually read to you on the air here, they're about the staff, they're about Steve, they're about Patty, they're about the front desk, they're about everybody that you talk to being willing to walk you through the whole process and make it as easy for you as possible because it's not something you want to do anyway. Fountains Family Dentistry is in Fairview Heights, Illinois. Easy to get to, fountainsfamilydentistry.com.
The IRS definitely ramped up operations since the pandemic slowed them down, and activity only increases from here. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. If you're currently under audit or you haven't paid your taxes in the past, now's the time to call the Lance Story Law Firm. The IRS has a published taxpayer bill of rights which says you have the right to retain legal representation because IRS problems are legal problems, and the Lance Story Law Firm focuses specifically on addressing IRS issues for our clients. It's all we do. We get out in front of the IRS, devise the best resolution plan, and work to make sure you're able to take advantage of every program you're qualified to receive. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure company, call the Lance Story Law Firm. We're local, located right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURYlaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-238-7360.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions, and that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
That's AMCO, AA, MCO.
Halloween is over, but hiring is still a bit scary. Indeed's end-to-end solution helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates. Sponsor a job and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
The vote is in. STL Today has certified the result. Onder Law has been voted 2023's best law firm in St. Louis.
When you're injured, call Onder Law at 314 or 618-9000000.
Shows that make a difference in your day.
Your home for conservative talk.
97.1 FM Talk. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart. Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio. I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Appreciate you being with us this afternoon. Yesterday, we wrapped up the day talking about the Senator Mullen throwdown with the union boss, and wow, what was that something? Well, there are developments that have taken place in this. Here's a follow-up on Senator Mark Wayne Mullen's he picked up the challenge where this union boss left off on Twitter. So the union boss they had been in a hearing before, and after the hearing, this Teamsters guy went on to Twitter and was like, "I'll take him any place, anywhere," which is what really grown men do on Twitter. And the Senator Mullen, who you've likely never heard of unless you're from Oklahoma, at the hearing that they had yesterday said, "Let's roll." Little did I know, and did we know in the studio until we did a little research on it, that Senator Mullen is a former MMA fighter. Like, let's pick the right battles
I've had media come out to me and says, this isn't coming of a senator. I was like, listen, I'm a guy from Oklahoma first. In Oklahoma, you don't do this. Maybe you run your mouth in New Jersey. I don't know. I'm not from New Jersey, but this is some thug. That's a mob boss, and you're supposed to be intimidating because he's the boss of the Teamsters. And he's got away with this. He's got suspended by his own Teamsters before for intimidation. He's been in trouble multiple times. He in 2022, he said he wanted to bring the mob mentality back to the Teamsters. Maybe that's true, but you still aren't going to run your mouth at me and expect me to just sit there. And you should have seen the fear of his eyes when I stood up, too. I'm not joking. I'm not looking for a fight. I used to get paid to fight professionally. I'm not really looking for it, but I'm sure not going to sit back and let somebody do that and not call him out on it.
I kind of choke on the idea of, like, we should bring decorum back to the United States Congress. I mean, yes. But who goes first? Because it's an S show. I mean, when you a bologna sausage show. When you look at how these people deal with each other, do you remember the second impeachment of Donald Trump? And they're like, he had fighting words. Donald Trump had fighting words in his speech. And listen to all the things that he said. When the Republicans or the Trump defense team got the opportunity in that impeachment trial to stand up and take the podium and make their case, they played 18 plus minutes of Democrats saying the same things, and in some cases worse, than Donald Trump was like, now's the time to fight. That is a phrase that the Democrats were like, that's an impeachable offense. Insurrection! And then they're like playing Maxine Waters standing outside. You got to go to the gasoline station and get up in their face. It's like, I think that would qualify for fighting words too, but I'm not sure about the rules here. Is it unbecoming of the office? I think we're getting to the part where it's becoming of the office, and I don't even know if that's a phrase. So you're like, okay, the United States Senate, man, they got to get their act together. It's a good thing those people over there in the House have their act together. Like, for instance, Congressman Burchett.
Well, I was doing an interview with Claudia from NPR, a lovely lady, and she was asking me a question. And at that time, I got elbowed in the back, and it kind of caught me off guard because it was a clean shot to the kidneys. And I turned back, and there was Kevin. And I for a minute, I was kind of, what the heck just happened? And then I chased after him, of course. He's
obviously,
as I've stated many times, he's a bully with $17 million in a security detail. He's the type of guy that when you're a kid would throw a rock over the fence and run home and hide behind his mama's skirt. And he just, he from behind, that kind of stuff. That's not the way we handle things in East Tennessee. If we have a problem with somebody, I'm going to look them in the eye and talk.
We know how Oklahoma handles things. We know how East Tennessee I don't know about West Tennessee. We'll get to that maybe later. Kevin McCarthy
would not hit him in a kidney. HC5, you're all down there, right? Not a very big hallway. So I'm walking out.
Did he not say that just like Donald Trump?
Yeah.
Wouldn't hit him in the kidney. Yeah. Listen to this. I mean, it could be, I thought it was Donald.
Would not hit him in a kidney. HC5, you're all down there, right? Not a very big hallway. So I'm walking out. You could talk to Bruce Westerman, because I actually called him after you guys reported something. I said, did I hit somebody? Bruce Westerman and I were walking out, and I guess a reporter was interviewing Burchett or something. I guess our shoulders hit, because Burchett runs up to me after. I didn't know what he was talking about. Some reporters asked me. I did not run and hit the guy. I did not kidney punch him. I did not shoot anything like that.
You didn't shove him?
No. We're walking through. You were at HC5, right? You guys line up along the way there. It was Bruce Wester and I walking out. He must have been interviewing somebody. I didn't know it was him or something. I guess our elbows hit as I walked by.
Somewhere between, I guess, our elbows hit and Kevin McCarthy punched me in a kidney.
And I chased after him.
Because that's what you do in East Tennessee. So, there's physical threats and altercations happening in both the United States and Senate. But the good thing is that we have not sunk to name calling.
No, I'm not going to give you your time back. We can stop the clock. You all continue to. You look like a Smurf here, just going around and all this stuff. Now listen,
Mr. Chairman, I'm
going to tell you something.
Hold on. If we're not on time,
we spew disinformation.
You have gone on TV and said the president did something illegal. You're doing stuff with your brother. The American people have the same questions. Why should they believe you? Why should they believe you? Why should they believe you? There's a different rule for the president. There's a different rule for you. Why should they believe what you're saying, Mr. Chairman? Why?
Why does he look like a Smurf?
Is he blue?
That's the only thing I can think of.
Maybe he's got one of those little hats that
maybe he's really small.
Tilts forward.
Maybe he only has 3 fingers. I don't know. How many fingers
Maybe he
does a
doesn't
Smurf
wear
have?
a shirt, just pants.
How many guess right now, don't look. How many fingers does a Smurf have?
4.
4 fingers?
Yeah. On each hand, not total. They would be like little clamps, like little crab clamps.
Brad, are you what you need to guess?
It's 3 fingers and 1 thumb.
4.
That would be 3.
Oh, so you don't call the thumb a finger, huh?
No cartoon doesn't have a thumb.
All right, then 3.
Is a thumb a finger?
Yes. It's an opposable digit. It's still a digit.
You can list other things that a thumb is. That doesn't mean it is.
It's still a digit, though. That's my point.
A digit may be different than a finger.
No, I think digits are fingers.
Then why do we only call that one the thumb?
Well, why do you call this one your pinky?
Pinky finger?
Thumb finger.
All I'm getting is pictures of Smurf aliens.
Not James Comer?
Oh, what's because I Googled Smurf cat. I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
I was like, these are weird. Yeah, 3 fingers, 1 thumb.
So
whatever that means for you. Does Moskowitz only have 3 fingers and 1 thumb? Or he's blue. Or he's wearing a white or red hat.
Let me look it up. Moskowitz cat.
Does it bother you that the decorum on Capitol Hill is subpar?
I think they're just kind of catching up with the rest of American society.
I have no problem if that Teamsters boss wants to behave that way, for him to get called out on the behavior. I don't know if threatening violence back is Senator Mullen maybe the most senatorial thing to do, but we changed the rules so that Senator Fetterman could wear gym shorts. So it's like, I know they changed it back because they're like, this isn't working. But let's not pretend that the Senate is this place where we send our most refined men. And if you're going to elect an MMA fighter to the Senate and someone's going to go on Twitter and call him out and say, I'll fight you anywhere. I mean, you're kind of getting what you pay for there. And I don't know who voted. I mean, honestly, I don't know in Oklahoma who voted for Senator Mullen, who's like, well, I just won't stand for that.
I'm pretty sure Oklahoma voted for him to do that.
To fight people.
Yeah. To stand up in hearings and be like, I'll fight you right now.
Yeah, I know. I'm not mad at it.
I'm not either. I'm so glad because I thought that I would have an unpopular opinion and thinking that this was kind of just funny and fun. But it is because it ends up drawing attention to the actual issues that are being discussed.
Well, and the other side of that is, too, the only way to return to decorum is not to say, hey, guys, let's return to decorum. It's to get the bullies who are not acting in appropriate ways to understand that there are actually going to be consequences for your actions. So that guy from the Teamsters, if he would have got hit in the mouth, maybe he wouldn't have run his mouth so much anymore. There's always that underlying thing that needs to be there, that there's consequences for what you say and what you don't say. And that's what keeps society polite, is the fact that I don't want to deal with the consequences of being a jerk.
In the light of fighting, we have Dana White, who runs UFC. He was on, I am now I'm totally down the rabbit hole of Theo Von podcasts. I watched 1.5 of them last night. The first one was with a coroner from Louisiana. Just like not a famous person. He just is a coroner. And it was 2 hours and 15 minutes of talking about how coroners do their jobs. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to listen, but I listened to almost the whole thing. So I guess I did. And then I listened to one about a mortician. And I just found that to be really interesting because I really know nothing about the job of those two individuals. I think Theo Von does a really good job. So if you're interested in, I mean, it's not for little kid ears, I would say, most of the time. Some of it is. But Theo Von was interviewing Dana White, and Dana White is in charge of the UFC. And you saw that President Trump and Tucker Carlson and Don Jr. were all in tow with Dana White as he entered this UFC fight this past weekend. And the crowd went nuts. They went absolutely nuts. So if Donald Trump is the nominee, this is definitely the direction we're headed in, which is we're sick and tired of this. And, you know, I'm not talking about necessarily with fists and all that stuff, but people are ready to fight for what they believe in. It's gotten to that point with more of a core or a base of people than I think we've had in the past are willing to really go all out and defend what they think is good and right. I don't know if that's enough people to elect Donald Trump because the base is not going to be, they're going to need more than the base. But Lord knows Donald Trump sure has the base. Dana White was talking about in his interview with Theo Von on his podcast. I can't remember what it's called. This past weekend is what it's called. About being contacted by one of his big sponsors with UFC because Dana White had reposted something that Donald Trump had said. Did you put this up there?
I did.
Okay, here we go.
This happened to me. I posted a video for Trump, right, on my personal social media. And one of our big sponsors called and said, take that down. You know what I said? Go yourself.
Yeah.
You vote for whoever you want to vote for, and I'll vote for whoever I want to vote for. That's how this works. I don't even care who you're voting for. It's none of my business. You.
Yeah.
Don't ever call me and tell me who to vote for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel in fear these days, you know? A lot of people feel in fear that if they don't vote for certain people, they're going to lose their jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Hollywood, for example.
Think about how crazy that is.
It sounds insane. It sounds just like...
Well, it'll keep happening unless more people stand up for themselves and give them the you response.
I mean, that's really crass. And if I'm listening to this and I have my kids in the car and it's beeping, some of my kids are going to know what's being beeped. Some of them aren't going to be paying any attention because it's talk radio. But there is an element to that I think is necessary, getting back to the YouTube live chat poll, to restore the American spirit. Because what Dana White is saying there is this big corporation, this big company who advertises with him. So there's a money exchange going in between these two parties, calls and says, this is what you're going to do. And Dana White says, no. He says no. And not only no, but how dare you tell me what I'm going to do? Listen, he doesn't say all this here, but you've got a choice of what to do with your dollars, but you do not get to have the choice of what I do with my vote or my support. So if you got a problem with it, don't call me and tell me what to do. You do what you've got to do. But don't think for a second that you get to overlord yourself over me. I mean, like Dana White is a pretty powerful and influential guy. So it's not like he's sitting there as a nobody being asked to do something by this, high up person. And there is a balance to the power that exists there. But think about how many times we've seen cancel culture swoop in and tell somebody, this is what you're going to do. This is how you're going to apologize. And after you apologize, you're going to have to apologize again and again and again. Those people who do that, they don't ever really fully recover. And I'll sum up Dana White's response in no, as opposed to his version of it. It's more than a no. It's a no, how dare you? Like, who do you think you are to be able to take this from me? Now, talking about the American spirit with Greg Jarrett at 105, when he was on the show, he's got a book out that he was, it's called The Constitution and Other Patriotic Documents. And it's talking about where we came from, which is part of understanding how to restore the American spirit. There is a little bit of an edge that I think is potentially uniquely American when it comes to something like how you feel about a particular political candidate. The appeasement of other people's feelings at the sacrifice of your ability to choose who you support or not, there's a bit of the American spirit in that mentality that Dana White articulated in his Dana White kind of way.
I love it. I love that clip. I don't know about you, Brad, but that just makes me go, yeah. And I don't even use that language, but I want to start.
That's an attitude.
It is an attitude. And not everybody's in that position that he's in to be able to do that. But it looks different for everybody, but everybody's got to have a little bit of that, or we are just going to succumb to cancel culture and the winds of the world.
He's exactly right. People will keep doing it until people give them that attitude back. And it's like, no, you're not going to tell me what to do. I was listening to that clip. I was listening to it a lot, double-checking and triple-checking to make sure I got everything.
That's why I asked you. Not that I don't trust Leah. I just want to make sure that we have two ears on these kinds of things.
Well, Leah listened to the clip, too. And as I just played it through the first time to start marking the spots that I needed to mark, Leah just turns around. She goes, that's really good. That's a really good clip. I was like, I know, and I get those words out there. But the sentiment is right. You don't get to tell other people what they get to do with their vote because you sponsor their whatever. You can, like you were saying, you control what you can control, i.e. your own money and whether or not you want to be part of that sponsorship of that organization, that group, that product, whatever it is. You can control that, but you don't get to tell them what to do. And that's where we have gotten messed up as a culture, that we've figured, I have something wrong with this, but I have the right to tell you, you can't vote that way. Because I have a problem with it.
Ryan's going to go out in the cafeteria and be like, and you too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're
blank
cool.
you, blank you. Whoops, you guys are the bosses. I didn't know we were having a bosses. Oh, no, an all-Odyssey meeting was happening today?
Hey, it's good when you're invited to those, though.
Yeah.
You don't want the meeting to be happening and you weren't invited. That means you should go get a box. Go vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Can the American spirit be restored? Yes, no, or it's just fine. And let us know what you think about that Theo Von, Dana White conversation and interview. Is that the way? Might be for some people in some circumstances. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Oh, yeah. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Frey Show.
STS-armory.com. That's the website. If you want to visit STS Armory because you got a purchase to make or a class to sign up for, like that conceal and carry class, so that you can be compliant in the state of Illinois or the renewal of it, go to visit them on South Drive in Pontoon Beach, Illinois. It's at the corner of Highway 111 and South Drive. And you can call them at 618-931-GUNS. Katie and Jesse Johnson, the owners there, they are as knowledgeable as it gets when it comes to firearm ownership, preparation, storing your firearm in a safe, secure place, and the classes that they teach, especially when it comes to having a firearm in the house, making sure that you know how to safely secure it. And if you want to have kids and teams take a firearm safety and education course, All of this knowledge, I've talked to people so many times when they've considered getting a firearm for the first time, not even like conceal and carry, that's way down the line. But there's just so much fear involved because there's so much you don't know. And it's amazing to watch their eyes get wide open. The more they know, the less afraid they are because they have the knowledge. What you fear is what you don't know, and you can fill that void with STS Armory, both with purchases and education. Find them online at sts-armory.com.
I'm Tony Kornheiser, and this is my show. My friends come on and you know them. We talk about the sports you care about, football and now basketball too, though we don't really pay attention until later in the year, and the absurdity that is our lives. Line etiquette at your local pharmacy, the current phase of the moon, the importance of talking to a human being on the phone, and most importantly, the power of a box of that. Listen on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Feels good to be home. Our local Ashley store has the biggest and best Black Friday furniture and mattress deals going on right now. Literally everything is on sale throughout the store, including up to 75% off designer-picked holiday hot buys. Plus, you can shop confidently because Ashley's price match guarantee ensures you'll get the best price. So if you're looking for trend-forward styles at unbelievable Black Friday prices, shop your local Ashley store today, only at Ashley.
If you're starting to plan that holiday party, get on the schedule now for Grill Master Tony. You know, his holiday party schedule's starting to fill up. Get on the calendar. He does full service catering as well as drop-off service for any size corporate or house party. The brisket, the pulled pork, the ribs, and all the sides. Tony will bring the party to you. You're going to appreciate what he does and the delicious food. Your friends are going to love it. Get online today and order at grillmastertony.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
Pay Doctor Portrayal.
I didn't see it coming. Life can be so unpredictable. After losing my dad, it made me think about my family if something were to happen to me. The mortgage, car payments, and all the other bills. Even things like our annual summer vacation would be out of reach. I had heard about life insurance through Ethos and how easy it was to get coverage. They were right. I knew it was time to stop putting it off and get life insurance right now. I got on my computer and went to ethoslife.com. In just 10 minutes, I was covered. And boom, family protected. Thanks to Ethos, my family won't have to worry about the bills if the unpredictable happens to me.
Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's GETETHOS.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Save up to 20% on a new HVAC system when you bundle it with attic insulation. 9 out of 10 homes are under insulated. For a free estimate on attic insulation, visit aircomfortservice.com.
With Odyssey music stations, there's a different station for every taste, and they're all free. Listen to 97.1 live on your phone or browse the selection of music stations and make a soundtrack to your workday. It's all at Odyssey.com. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Sometimes I want to distract myself, so I go to yahoo.com and read their news. Rachel Maddow's unfiltered reaction to Mike Johnson news says it all. It's from the HuffPost. That's the thing about is Yahoo News an aggregate of like cooperating partners?
I don't know how much they cooperate. I'm sure all these outlets are fine being posted on Yahoo because I'm sure they get a lot more clicks. No idea how much they cooperate, though.
HuffPost's Lee Moran writes, MSNBC's Rachel Maddow removed her glasses and held her head when she learned during an appearance on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert on Tuesday that House Speaker Mike Johnson had secured a government funding bill to avoid a shutdown, but only with the help of Democrats, which drew ire from far-right members of his party. Maddow sarcastically commented, which I can only give you guys a minute to get into the place where you can imagine that happening.
Can't imagine her speaking any other tone.
I'm sure Mr. Johnson is very smart and capable and knows exactly what he's doing. But he got this job because the previous guy was driven out with pitchforks and torches for having had the temerity to speak to political opponents rather than wishing them dead. And now he needs his political opponents in order to keep his job. We all know how this ends. No, how does this end? How does it end?
I don't know. Yeah, that seems like she's saying everybody does know and it should be obvious, and I have no idea.
She said the GOP is, quote, not a party that is trying to govern. And well, they can't. I mean, there's all they can do is what they can do in the House.
They have a slim majority in one chamber.
And is in thrall to former President Donald Trump and his anti-democratic tendencies. Democrats, quote, are still treating this like it's a governing project when the two parties are doing two very different things. This is new. This is new information. Annie Frey said sarcastically. All right, HuffPost.
I can't picture without any other tone.
I know. It's just shocking. You should see what I'm doing over here. You have no idea.
No.
I had an extra blank piece of paper because you printed out the stuff for Greg Jarrett.
Yeah.
There's a blank piece of paper on the end. So I'm drawing Ryan Wiggins.
I love it.
Yeah.
No.
A quick view. I'm just going to show you just so you can see a little bit here. I'm just showing Brad.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Am I wearing a backward hat?
You started to.
Not yet.
I drew.
You haven't gotten to my head. You're only drawing my body? That's weird, Annie.
I drew your forehead.
What, am I, a Frankenstein monster?
No, I just drew your hat line, and the rest of the top is your forehead. I just haven't drawn the rest of the hat yet.
Is it a caricature? Am I riding a dune buggy?
No, it's just your face.
You're just drawing me like on Titanic?
Yeah, your boobs are huge.
I'm not opposed to that.
I call this portrait Ryan Wiggin. The boob.
I only have one?
Well, we don't talk
Is it
about
at least
that.
in the middle?
We don't talk about that condition on the air, but since you brought it up. Are you okay?
Oh, am I okay? You're over there drawing a sketch of me throughout the show.
I sure
am
am.
I okay? Yeah, I've got big problems, apparently. I got a
Just
big
one.
boob.
I wouldn't call it problems.
Is it like D cup?
Is that big?
Yeah. But it's not big enough, is what I'm saying.
Man, I would like to lay into this conversation, but I just feel as though it wouldn't be authorized by the powers in your life that be. So we're going to not.
Whatever you do over there, I would like to eventually see it, but...
Oh, I'm going to show the people.
Oh,
I'm
are you?
I'm going to show the people at the next break. We're going to put up a split screen.
I got to tell you.
I need you to
when
talk.
it gets late in the year...
Finish the rest of the segment so I can finish
I
drawing
can tell
it.
that Annie is thinking a lot about Christmas and just other things than politics because we have a show going on, and then I'll find out halfway through it that she's been drawing a sketch of me.
Mm-hmm.
And that is content. That's apparently enough content that she's waiting until the end of the show or end of the week. I don't know which. Like, how much work are you putting into this? You're still doing it right now.
I agree completely with what you said, Ryan. Go on.
I can tell that you're deep into this because you're like licking your pen and going back to it like an old scribe.
This is an unsharpened pencil with an eraser, and I have not licked it once.
You asked for a pencil. I didn't know it was to draw me.
I wouldn't have told you that. I wanted a pencil.
Did you go into this knowing you were drawing me, or did you just start drawing and that's what came out?
I did not start drawing and think, wow, this looks like Ryan, and then commence.
Okay. If you started with my head, can I make any requests?
No. Your request is your face. That's it.
I want a horse body.
No.
I want to be a minotaur.
No.
Make me a minotaur.
No.
Annie.
I'm not even drawing your body. Just your face and your one boob.
I want one boob. I want a decent hairline.
It's going to be difficult because of where the boob is.
And I want the hairline to become a mane. But at first, it has to look like my natural hair.
So I see we're in a fantasy land.
Yes. And I want there to be magical forest creatures around me, not regular animals, like a skunk dog.
This is way more of your fantasy than I ever wanted to know.
And I want to be holding my hands up as if they're worshiping me. All the other smaller animals. Weird. That's not too much to ask.
No, you can ask whatever you want. I'm not going to do any of it.
I really would like to know what you are doing.
Right now, your chin.
Is it strong?
It's actually, I'm not going to lie, stronger than I wish it were. I've already had this thought. I'm actually going to bring it in a little bit.
There's a way to get around the eyes because I have really, really nice eyes. That when people look at them, they go, that is just a nice guy. He's very genuine. If you can't draw
that,
what
they
though,
say?
Yeah,
Why, when they talk about you to me, are they always whispering?
If you're not capable of drawing that, like big, like anime eyes, if you're not okay with that or you're not capable of that, go ahead and just give me sunglasses and a cape, and you can drop the horse's body. You did this.
I don't have a problem with it.
I'm just helping now.
I don't have a problem with it. We're good.
Okay. All right. Let's hear some more Alanis Morissette today then.
You sing it.
You know what? I have an issue that I want to go back to from last segment.
This is good. See, this is where you should get your feelings out.
How many times do you say, if somebody says, Annie, how many fingers do you have? Do you say, well, I have 4 and a thumb? Like on one hand, how would you describe having fingers?
Only when I'm talking about how many fingers people have. Like
if I go like this, how many fingers am I holding up?
Yeah.
And it's all of my fingers. Do you go 8 and 2 thumbs? Mm-hmm. Thank you. I think I rest my case.
Will you hold still?
No, I will
You're
not.
Complaining about me. You can say whatever you want about me right now.
I will whinny and neigh, and I will paw at the ground.
We'll do it.
Is that helping?
The radio show? No.
Is that getting you there?
Me? Yes, it is. It's hard to draw the gray in your beard.
Well, yeah, when it's on grayscale.
Yeah, you're just drawing with a pencil.
Yeah, but I got some methods.
I'm getting a little gray. If you want, I don't know why people are even listening to this now, but
they're not. They left. That's why I'm going to finish.
If you want to tune into the YouTube live, you can see that I am starting to get a little gray, even in my sideburns. Check it out. Bam.
It's the best radio we've ever done.
Can you do that?
We should go to break.
You can tell that they had their show meeting yesterday because they know nobody, like the bosses, are not listening today. I'm not talking to the people in the room. I'm talking to St. Louis. Dear St. Louis, the show meeting was yesterday. Today, there's free reign to do anything that we want.
Brad, did you go to a show meeting yesterday?
I did not.
No, I didn't either.
Well, they ain't listening today. I know that.
What are you talking about?
You're not going to have some sort of meeting about the show.
Show meetings are on Wednesday, Ryan.
I know,
it is Wednesday.
But
Today
whatever
is
is happening right now is not going to be a part of that meeting. Otherwise, you would have taken it much more seriously.
What meeting? There was not a meeting.
The meeting that will happen.
This isn't his delusional state where he's like, I don't get invited to any of the meetings. I didn't get invited to the show meeting on Tuesday. There wasn't a show meeting on Tuesday. There was a show meeting last Wednesday, and you said, you know what I should do? I should go be on the Dave Weber show. And you did.
I wasn't even invited.
To the show meeting?
I just walked into the Camo X.
I reveal the Ryan Wiggins portrait when we come back. Don't go away.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
MySlim180.com. We were talking about weight loss and the semaglutide shots, the tirzepatide shots. These are shots that people are taking right now that you've heard about that are helping people lose weight that haven't really had the greatest success before. You can get those from Slim180, and you get them for way less than you're going to get them from your pharmacy. I want you to know that Slim 180 is there to counsel you through all of this, to explain every nook and cranny of losing weight, to get you to a healthier version of you. It's not just about a vanity, dropping pounds to get into a smaller jean size, although that absolutely will happen and you will feel great about it. It's about the healthy factors that come along with dropping those 10, 15, 20 pounds finally. The 50 pounds, the 150 pounds. If this is a story that resonates with you, please consider giving Slim 180 the opportunity to help you lose this weight once and for all. Register online for a free consultation at myslim180.com. Also, check out their ratings with the BBB. They're fantastic. People trust Slim 180. Slim 180 is helping people lose weight. Find them online at myslim180.com.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-3333. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, job relocation houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-3333. That's 314-782-3333.
The Eagles present The Long Goodbye, the final tour, live in St. Louis. With special guest Steely Dan. The Eagles, Enterprise Center, February 6th. Get tickets Friday, November 17th at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com. The Eagles, The Long Goodbye, the final tour.
Honey, is our car still under warranty?
No, not anymore.
My sister just got an extended service plan from Ox Car Care.
Ox Car Care?
Yeah, Ox will cover our repair bills if anything happens to our car, new brakes, a transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait a minute, we pay nothing on the repairs? Ox gets it fixed for us? Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance? What's the number?
800-224-9174. Ox has a 30-day money-back guarantee and an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike other warranty companies. We should call now. 800-224-9174.
The last thing we need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-224-9174. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox Car Care, 800-224-9174 or oxcarcare.com.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. If having turkey for the holidays, buy from a local farm, get one labeled USDA organic or certified humane. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
The YouTube live chat poll for the day.
Pay attention. What were you doing? Why were you not? What were you distracted by?
If you're just tuning into the Annie Frey Show, Annie started drawing me like in Titanic.
I did not.
You are.
I didn't do it like in Titanic.
You are drawing me, and nobody's seen it yet, so I assume I look like Kate Winslet in that, or Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't care which.
Did you say Leonardo DiCaprio?
I am now drawing Annie. And I drew it on the opposite side of the YouTube live chat poll page. So
instead
I had to turn it
of
over.
doing the time check.
So this YouTube live chat poll, which we will discuss here in a couple minutes, is can the American spirit be restored? Yes, no, or it's just fine. On the other side of that paper is the beginning of a picture of Annie, which I'm going to reveal.
Am I going to be offended
in the
by
next
this
segment? Yes.
Okay.
2:44. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning. I hope I made you proud.
Maybe.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Charles Lipson back with us, Professor Emeritus of Political Science at the University of Chicago.
It's just very clear that the leaders of almost all these universities have no spine at all.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
is The Annie Frey Show.
So we were talking about, for our Christmas show, which will probably be the last Friday before Christmas, probably, doing a variety type of show where maybe we try to show some of our, would say, like B or C level talents. Assuming that this is as good as it gets, and this is at least relatively our A level talent, what we do on a daily basis here.
You're going to see some things that I could do with my eyes that you've never seen before.
I am going to send a segment drawing.
You're going to do a whole segment that Friday just drawing?
Yeah, and you can host it.
You already kind of did that today.
I know, I'm practicing.
This is today's practice for the Christmas show.
Do you think that this, like, what kind of grade do you expect to give this once you see it? Do you think this is going to be like a total? I'm drawing Ryan Wiggins right now for people who are in. I had an extra piece of paper that I don't normally have as a completely blank piece of paper. I said I'd put it to good use. Are you prepared to? You think this is going to be hilarious? Do you think that it's going to be awful? Do you think it's going to be good?
I think whatever it is, you've probably made it too small. And it should have been bigger. I would say that in that sense, I'm going to give this an F.
Right. It is a picture of his head.
If you made it a tiny little pea head,
I'm happy with
then
that. I think that's funny. I think Brad gets an A+ for the day.
I'm going to say you should have laid my head under a princess's mattress and seen if she could have felt it.
Didn't know where that's going.
I don't think he did either.
I wouldn't say you stuck the landing, but you didn't crash and burn. So.
Yeah. Pull it back at the last second.
This is the type of thing that I'll go home tonight, and if I'm bored and lay in bed and can't sleep, I'll be like, wonder what my face was doing while Ryan was going down that path. Because I'm always afraid it's going like this. It's very...
That's the Annie's bracing face.
Do we have to apologize after he's done? I don't know yet.
If my head is...
We don't need to go there again. The people who... Yeah. The YouTube live chat poll for today. You can go join us on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. I'm going to reveal for you folks watching here in a bit my
FR on YouTube says, I don't know why this strikes me as so funny.
I do.
Breakthrough in radio, a drawing contest.
What are they doing on KLX right now? Anything better.
Literally anything.
If you go into the Annie Frey YouTube channel, I'll show you the picture here before we wrap, as I show it to Ryan for the first time. But the YouTube live chat poll is, can the American spirit be restored? Yes, no, or it's just fine. Ryan, when you hear this poll, I don't know if you heard all of what Greg Jarrett had to say with us at 105, but do you feel like the American spirit needs to be restored? And if you do you think it can be?
It does need to be restored. And the way I define the American spirit, because I heard you guys talking about this when I was not here, is it's basically national optimism. Not nationalism, but just a collective feeling of optimism in the country is the way I would describe the American spirit. There's a lot that would feed into that, and I didn't disagree with any of you guys, but that's the way I would define it. So that, with that definition in mind, I would say, yes, it needs to be restored because there isn't as much optimism as there used to be. I'm not saying it's gone. There's still optimism, but it is diminished, and it needs to be restored for us to have a higher American spirit.
Isn't the opposite of, did you say pride?
I didn't say pride,
when I was listening to you talk about that, it's like if there's dismay in the American spirit right now, there's still an understanding that of what it should be and it not being there. I think that you could say the American spirit is alive and well and have an understanding of what the American spirit is and be somebody else who says that the American spirit is not alive and well, but both agree in principle what that American spirit is. Kind of as an ancillary to that conversation is the people who would aggressively and actively say that the destruction of our understanding of what the American spirit is how you restore America to something that is better than it was. And if you look at our country right now and you see just some of the hate that exists right now, that type, we talked to Efrat Okef yesterday, and it was a really interesting interview. I hope you check that out on the Annie Frey YouTube channel or on the podcast if you subscribe to our podcast, because She was at a protest in the Del Mar Loop here in St. Louis. And it sticks with me that she went as a Jew to this, what they call pro-Palestinian, what she calls pro-Hamas protest, and they're chanting from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Is that what it is? Whatever.
Yeah, they just had it on TV right when you said it, actually.
And she asks these people at this Palestinian protest, what river are you referring to? And they can't tell her what river they're talking about, river to the sea. So in the world where those people exist in this country, or the reality, I should say, the culture is very not the same as the one where, in my mind, I exist. What do you think, Brad, about the poll?
I think that the American spirit can absolutely be restored. I do think that it's like a pride or a happiness in the country. I think the biggest problem that we face, and Ryan, you're pretty close with the optimism versus pessimism on the country. Like, I think that there used to be a certain attitude that people had whenever you would say, I'm an American. I think that people carried themselves in a way like, this is something that we can be proud of. We've built a great nation. We built a great country. We're doing great things in the world. We helped stop Nazism across the world. I mean, that was American soldiers that went and died. It was American soldiers that went and died for Europeans. You know, we don't just defend ourselves, we defend others. We've got a giving attitude. And there just seems to be this attitude amongst younger generations. I'm not going to say it's only younger generations or all of the younger generation, that maybe there's nothing good about America. And I think that one of the things that we have to get back to is this idea that in fact, the United States is a good country. It's not perfect. Nobody ever says it was perfect. But in this world, it seems like we just have this binary thinking. Either it's perfect or it's awful and not worth anything. And the people are missing this idea that, yeah, the United States has a sordid history, but we also fought a big bloody civil war to get past slavery. We've ended things like Jim Crow laws and stuff like that. All of this stuff that everybody likes to point to and says the United States is a horrible country because of this. It was the United States that changed it about the United States, and that's what makes the country great. We continue to remake ourselves in a way that we keep getting better, but to fundamentally change it and to say that we're not worth anything, that attitude needs to go. That attitude needs to go. So I'm a yes. We can absolutely restore it.
It can be.
Annie, you want me to read a couple comments?
Sure.
Sheepdog says, it's just fine. I know I'm in the minority here, but the American spirit is fine among many of us who are proud to be American. We just hear too much about the crybabies. Lori says...
There's something to that, though, the spotlight, that if we could just pull our constant insatiable need to spotlight the crybabies... That's how I take care of Fitz in my house now with the 2-year-old, which is we say, go sit on the carpet, and, go sit in the front in timeout, and cry all you want. Let us know when you're done. And when she comes back, she's back.
We give a lot of oxygen to people
Yeah.
who have really crazy opinions a lot of times.
Yeah.
Dirk says, I chose yes. Folks need to stop. Where it goes. Folks need to stop being offended. Pansies, focus more on our commonalities. Accept that folks may have a different opinion or ideal. Don't force a narrative. Dash says, spirit can be restored if they stop the control of discouragement that they use. And last one that I'll read here before we get to see some photos of me. No, not photos.
I mean, it could be a photo.
Drawings.
Could be a photo.
Lori says, Poll, I said yes, and I have faith and hope that it can be.
You ready to see it?
Are you ready to see mine of you?
How do you like that? Here you go.
That's not bad.
That's not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not what I was expecting
You
at all.
completely undermined my expectations.
Wow. And you signed it.
I did. And I dated it the year.
I look beautiful in this. I look like a beautiful man.
I'd say.
It's not the kind
I
of
was kind of getting angry. I was looking a little more Travis Kelce, a little less Ryan Wiggins.
it's not the kind of guy that you said you like.
Yeah. I'm
See that? Yep.
I'm still of the mind his head's not big enough.
It's as big as the page.
Yeah.
It's all
It doesn't get a whole lot bigger.
The YouTube live chat poll today: can the American spirit be restored? Yes, no, or it's just fine. It's just fine. 7% of 181 votes. No, 17%. And yes, the American spirit can be restored, 77%. It's very good. Good to hear that from the listeners.
I'm not as good at drawing as you.
Is it good? What do you think? Give it a grade.
No, I don't think it's that great.
No, give mine a grade.
For me, it's good.
Give mine a grade.
Yours is an A.
Yes.
I mean, it's very good.
And yours? Show it to the camera. I want to see this.
Okay. Now you're dancing because I know how much you love dance. Okay? I had to like put you in action.
Walk us through it for the radio. What's wrong with my wig?
See, she's dancing.
I don't know if that's me.
I did your hair kind of long in the back because you have longer hair.
That looks like a mullet, though.
Well, it's from the side.
How come I don't? I know, but I have hair on the side of my head.
Yeah, and you know what? I regret making it curly instead of straight.
You also don't have ears.
They're hidden.
Those are little T-Rex arms.
They're hidden under the teeth.
Do you like my photo? My drawing of you?
Yeah, you can have this too.
You can keep it. I'll take.
I'm gonna sign
yeah,
this.
you sign
you have
yours.
it.
Make sure you put the date on it, so I don't get it confused with my other art. See you tomorrow.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. I covered the shooting near Enterprise Center that happened yesterday. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. And there's a claim by Greater St. Louis Inc. that crime is actually down. I will appropriately mock that coming up in a few minutes.
Marc Cox here. Join me next spring on a beautiful trip to Italy. This is going to be great. We're going to fly into Rome. We are going to get on a bus and travel south to the Abbey of Monte Cassino. Maybe Italy's best kept secret. It looks like something out of a picture book. We'll visit Puglia. We'll go to Caserta. We're going to spend several days in Sorrento. You'll have an opportunity to visit the ruins in Pompeii, and then Positano, which is on the Amalfi Coast and absolutely one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. I can tell you, my wife and I have been there, and we can't wait to go back. You can even take a high-speed jet foil over to the Isle of Capri, which has some tremendous historic Roman ruins on it that you can visit while you're there. $53.67 a person. That includes your airfare from the St. Louis area. Call them toll-free at 888-733-9494. That's 888-733-9494 or conservativetours.com.
Hi, it's Guy from the Good Feet store. Listen, if you've been suffering with knee, hip, or back pain, I've got news for you. The problem may be right under your nose. I'm talking about your feet. Think about it. Your whole body is supported by your feet, right? So if they're out of alignment, that could cause issues, not just in your feet, but your knees, hips, even your back. The Good Feet system helps put your feet in your ideal position. And once you do that, everything from there on up just might work better. I'm sure you've been frustrated trying all kinds of things to relieve a foot, knee, back, or hip pain, but maybe the solution was right in front of you the whole time at the Good Feet store. Just stop in and meet with one of our specialists who will personally fit you with the perfect arch support system. They'll let you walk around, try it for free, then you decide if they work for you before you buy.